And hello, everyone. Yeah, that's not working at all, is it? It's not really. It's just not seeing it. It's really annoying. It was working fine. But there we go. Little bit, little bit. Oh, there we go. Happy Halloween, everyone. Hello, hello. Good to see everyone. It is. Hey, Patrick. Good to see you. I know why you're here. I know why we're all here. It is Saturday night, which means it's time for the Weekly Dig, where we talk about anime old and new, which is, and we'll be talking about something kind of old and new tonight, in a way, which should be interesting. And so, yeah. I'm Brent. Took me a while to get there. I'm Brent, and these are my fantastic co-hosts, John. Say hi, John. And Steve. Say hi, Steve. Here we are. So yeah, let us start tonight by analyzing an anime movie we all watched this week, namely Evangelion 2.22, You Cannot Advance. Now, as mentioned before, we've all had some experience with Evangelion before. So we're all coming to this with some exposure to the TV series. And some of us have seen the rebuild movies before, some have not. Let's just kind of jump in here. So, as we recall, the first movie is basically episodes like 1 through 8 of the first series. And this movie is not that. I can't think of a single element of this movie that goes the way it went in the TV series. I think they change everything. Because we start, yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. When do they slap Shinji? Okay, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I would argue even in this movie, Shinji isn't Shinji and Rei isn't Rei by the end of this movie. But we'll get there. But yeah, I mean, to that point, we open with a completely new character. This girl in a green sort of quasi plug suit, like not really, kind of, sort of. Clearly, kind of an experimental thing. I love kind of the hoses coming out that are plugged into her arms. This is kind of a very weird thing, and we're introduced to this girl. We have no idea who it is, but we do meet Kaji. Right, we meet that scene. We're like, oh, okay. Uh, which one? Oh, it's interesting. Try. How about now? That should fix
La
it.
la la
There we go.
la.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate that. So yes. So we have new characters immediately, but we have the old character in Kaji. And we have a whole new fight with a whole new Evangelion and a whole new Angel. And I gotta admit, I really like this fight.
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
the whole subterranean thing, which we hadn't really seen before in this way. The way that it just sort of cuts out a whole cylinder of what's above it and then escapes through that cylinder. And then the fight with it where she just kind of pins it and then just does whatever she needs to take it out.
Yeah, that whole cylinder, I thought it was a trap. It's like I've seen this before. I watched 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, yep.
1.1, 2.2, 3.3, whatever. And it's like it always gets to that point where it's like I totally forgot it cut the cylinder because you don't really. It just
it just suddenly comes down.
Sort of and I was just like, wow, that's a really elaborate like way to trap whatever is trying to get out. Like you have like a pitfall kind of thing. It's like clomp, you're gonna squash it. I'm like, oh no, this thing's like super crazy. Like there's not we've got 7 minutes until level 27 of the armor's penetrated. No, this thing is like instantaneously, it's already cut the plug and it's ready to go. Like, oh wow, this is like a different kind of angel from the ones we saw.
Right.
Which is a great way of raising the stakes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because
it's
Nerve
also really
like almost didn't make it in 1.11 while that thing's like tunneling down. It's like if this thing had been there, it would have been instantaneously terrible.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great way to bring about the whole concept of like the Vatican Treaty and like how every country is limited to whatever, and it's what each country makes.
Yeah.
In terms of of an Evangelion unit, and what this was the American version, right?
I think so.
And it's just the way that that subterranean fight was great. I thought it was just going to be like, oh, she's shooting down the tunnel to get out, and that's how they do the thing. No, they're fighting inside the tunnel, and it's this wonderful chaotic movement, and then it just stops, and like everyone else is saying, oh, cylinder time.
Also, the kinetic motion. I've never really gotten a sense of like when you see Asuka or Shinji or Rei like running in an EVA unit. It's like you never get that same kind of sense of kinetic like energy involved. So
because it's a Godzilla movie, right? Like he's it's Ultraman, right? So it feels like
in this fight you get a sense of that kinetic motion because like the pilot jams on the brakes and it's like, oh no, it just stop, turn around. No, it's like down like the hallway. It's like, oh, the thing went that way. And I'm like, oh wow, thank you.
Yep.
Because these things are like tens of tons of machine and parts and stuff. You don't just stop on a dime, turn around. It's like, yes, you actually do have time where you drag it to a stop and then go the other direction.
Yep.
Like,
Patrick was saying it is a European EVA, I think.
Okay,
because I thought she's Asuka Langley.
Right.
So it's like she was the American pilot.
I think Asuka's European as well.
Is she?
Yeah. Asuka's German, actually.
Well, now she's German in the TV series.
Yes. German.
So it is possible they changed that for that. I'm not sure. It's a good point. But yes, so so we have the fight. She takes it out, and again, this every action scene should communicate character. And I love that this scene does that in that we have this. It is trying to get out. It is trying to leave, and so her job is to engage as quickly as possible. And so seeing how she is just going at it, but not in this act of like desperation, this act of, all right, let's do this thing. Like, like she's a sports player out there, gung-ho for the game, which is such a wonderful thing to see.
To see somebody who wants to do their job in the robot. Yeah. How refreshing.
Right. So we get to see Mario Illustrious for the first time. Who and definitely
it said you earlier in the week. She is a beast when she does this. She is just
that. Yes. You're right. Asuka spoke German in the at least in the TV series. I'm not sure if she does in the rebuild movie.
Okay.
I haven't heard. Yeah.
No, I think I'm not sure that she does in the rebuild.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I think she does in the TV, but
I respect that, Patrick, not being sold on Mario at this point. I was. I was like, I like this girl. I wasn't sold on her, but I was like, I'm in favor of this character so far.
Well, she was a completely different thing than what if you watch the old TV series, you watch this, completely different. You know, she is engaged. This is what she wants to do. She even tells you as she's doing the thing that, hey, I'm doing the thing because I want to be here. I want to kick the crap out of this thing, you know, and she's going all out. And that's the other part of it, is that she is pushing this machine to its limits. And there is nobody, by the way, back at HQ going, do this, do that.
Right.
They just let her go. They're just like, okay, we got the little berserker girl. We're going to put her in here and just let her go. Just let her do her thing.
Yep.
And then off she goes. And I like how they ended the fight when you know her plug evacuates. She's sitting there. Kaji says the one thing, and she says almost the same thing. But you know, it's a shame we're using kids as pawns. And she's just like, I'm loving my job so much. It's a shame that I'm using men as adults as boy pawns, so I can go out and kill angels. And it's just like, well, yeah, okay,
yeah.
Shinji would not say that.
Absolutely.
Ray would not say that.
No. So yeah, they're definitely doing something different with Mari. She is absolutely, well, I would say she's not nonchalant. I would say she is free-spirited, maybe. I get the feeling that she has come to peace with what she's doing. She clearly recognizes the danger that she might die, but she's like, that's part of the job. Like, this is what we have to do. It's very much the soldier's perspective, right? I'm going to do the thing, and, you know, whatever happens, happens.
And that's what I was going to say. It's like, Ray, I'm doing it because I'm told to do it, and I'll do anything that I'm told to do. Shinji, I'm doing it because I was forced to do it, so I'm going to do the thing until I can not be forced to do it.
Or because I want my project approval.
Right. And Asuka, it's like, I'm the best thing in the whole universe, and damn it well, I'm going to do this because it'll make me great. And Mario Illustrious, it's like, this is the job, and I'm going to do it. I'm trained to do it. I'm damn well good at what I do, and I'm enthusiastic at what I'm doing. I want to do the thing. And it's just like, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't feel so angsty watching Mario Illustrious like kick the crap out of things. I'm like, hey.
Well, and one of the reasons I think she works is because as Eva, as with a being sort of a commentary on mecha tropes, you don't get this much either in mecha series, right? You don't get just the calm, competent, I'm going to do the thing, and I'm glad that I'm doing this because it is good for society. You know, there's so many characters, even if they are like professional soldiers, who have stuff going on in their lives. It's just nice seeing, you know, this take on that character. And obviously you see that in Gundam here and there of the various characters who are like, oh, this is cool. I think
it's almost like you walk past the people that are the angsty main characters, and you go to, in like Gundam, in Macross, in any of the big robot fights, you go past those people to the people that are on the front line every day that are trained to do the thing, and they're like, you know what, I'm doing the thing because this is what we're trying to accomplish.
She's Roy Fokker.
Yeah.
Right? You know, yeah.
Well, the other refreshing part of this is that she is not, I know that they're all supposed to be the children. But there is a confidence in her that there's not existing in the other characters. And that confidence is coming through something that she has developed on herself and with others. And, you know, she's part of the team, but, you know, if you let her do her thing, then she's going to be really happy, and you're going to be really happy with the results.
Well, it just felt like she was trained to do the thing.
Yeah.
Right, and that's where the confidence comes from. It says, I am trained to do this.
Right.
Someone recognized that I'm good at this, and they trained me up.
Yep.
And now I'm confident.
Versus like Gendo is like, hey, Shinji, you just got off the train. Good seeing you, kid. Get in the machine. I mean, like, that's kind of not the way you operate, like, really important equipment. Just push some buttons and do stuff. You'll be fine. Oh, no, that's not how they work. And Mari is like the example of that, where it's like, she behaves like she's trained to do the thing.
Oh, well, did you notice that they did the shot of her hands on the controls, and she's like itching. She's itching to do it. And it's like her fingers are moving in the way that, okay, this is what I do to do the thing and to make this thing happen. Come on. Let's go.
Which is kind of like a callback to Shinji in the simulator, where he's like, look
totally.
and fire, look and fire, look and fire. Mari is the example of, I think, what happens when you have somebody who's trained up to do and they're ready to do it? Like the finger memory, the muscle memory is there. So that's what she's doing. She's muscle memory versus Shinji's trying to learn the muscle memory to do the thing.
Yep.
And it's like, she's already there. She already can do that. She's ready to do the input. She's ready to launch, ready to go. It's like, okay.
Exactly. I am currently trying to read up to see if there is any information on the Evo Wiki on Mari's, like, where she is from, like her nationality. But I can't find much. What is interesting is they're saying that she was not initially Anno's idea. One of the producers said, we need to add another pilot girl, basically. So create another pilot girl for the fans to squee over. And so Anno...
We need more model kits.
Yes, exactly.
Let's make another Eva. Good.
And so to quote the wiki, Chief Director Anno, knowing little more of his intent for her, other than that he wanted her to, quote, destroy Evangelion, end quote.
Wow.
Anno, I love you.
Damn.
Yeah.
I would have ruined the franchise. Oh, jeez, dude, easy.
Yeah. But no,
back it down a little.
And Anno basically said he realized this was his chance to really differentiate the rebuild movies. This is kind of his pivot point to kind of change things around. But yeah, and then they were about, apparently at one point the idea was to make her a dojiko, or a clumsy, careless girl, to differentiate her from the other characters. Thank you for not going down that path.
Yeah, that would have really totally shifted the entire film. I'm like, in a discordant kind of way, honestly.
Tripped.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Whoopsie. I would have loved to have I mean, it would have been hilarious for this to come in and, pilot girl, and she has a little ahoge, thing. It's like, crap.
Yeah.
Anno would have done it, but so I think this is a good take.
Yeah, there's good choices made here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then,
Thank you.
and then again, we have this moment with the graveyard, which blew my mind when I first saw it, because it is an actual conversation between Shinji and his father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It not only is it a conversation, it's not on like speakerphone.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Gendo and Shinji are in the same space, like doing a thing, not together particularly, but but they're you know what I mean. They're in the same physical space. It's not Gendo's like way up in like the gantry, being like, "Get in the machine." You know what I mean? Like they're there sharing the same moment, and like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, like
Definite
a
progress.
little bit of father-son progress. Not a lot, but still.
Yeah, I really appreciated the scene. Even though obviously Gendo still basically abandons him at the end of the scene. But again, progress. Okay, we're moving.
Yeah, they're at least in the same place.
Yes.
Like, come on, physically in the same place.
They talk. They have this interesting conversation where Shinji goes, "So you really? I heard that you threw all Mom's stuff away.
Yeah.
You really did do that." He's like, "Yup." And that's when I was just like, "Oh, what am I in for?" Because this is clearly foreshadowing. Like this is new territory for me.
Okay.
So so clearly there's, if you watch the series, then you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm like going, okay, there's going to be a tie-in to that, whatever that's going to be.
Yeah.
But I thought that was what was interesting at the end of it, when they're just kind of have that little, Shinji's just like, hey, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
He's being, it's a sad moment, but he's happy that he's sharing this sad moment with his dad. But when the two of them say goodbye, relatively speaking, because I think it's Gendo goes, okay, I'm done here. Turns around and walks towards the airplane thing, or the
jump ship, whatever the hell it is.
And Shinji, what's interesting is that Rei is in the ship. He's in the airship, So there's Gendo going towards Rei, and there's Shinji going towards Masato. And it's just like going, can we have any more of a divorce allegory thing? The kids are split up, and it's just like, all this kind of thing going on.
Absolutely.
She's mine, he's yours, kind of a thing. But both of them, like Masato is keeping her respective distance, and Rei's keeping her respective distance from what's going on.
It should also be pointed out in this scene that, like, Gendo says, "I'm leaving," he walks off. Shinji goes, "Father," and Gendo stops and turns around. And, waits for Shinji to say something, which he would not have done in episode 1, I don't think.
No.
It's like, wow, okay. But yeah, I completely agree. And I remember when the VTOL lifts off, and I'm like, so Shinji's going to walk back to Nerve? Like,
right, yes. Yes, because walking's too good for that pun. Right. He needs to tighten up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, Steve, that you had said that about divorce-wise.
Yeah.
It's like that was the kind of the thought that occurred to me. It's like Gendo's really coming from a position of the things that happened with Shinji's mom. That he is still deeply aggrieved and injured, and he cannot, as we've seen in the TV series, and see how things develop. He is not over that.
Gendo has not had
therapy.
No.
So one of the things that he's done to self-therapy is, like, surprisingly, he's not drinking a lot.
That we know.
That we haven't seen yet. But he's gotten rid of everything. Everything that could possibly remind him, that make him sad, make him think of things. Like, no, he's like entirely eliminated that, and then turned all of his
except for one glaring thing.
Well, you try and resurrect some things,
Right, yes, exactly.
But he's turned all of that, sadness, all of that frustration, all of that everything into this very narrow channel, and his love for Rei.
Yes.
So
his
pure
it's love for Rei.
Fatherly. No.
Yeah.
No, stop. Just no.
No, just don't. Just.
I just a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kept something kind of important. Exactly, Pat. Right there. There's one very large thing he kept. Exactly.
Yeah. But it's like, that was the thing that I thought too, Steve. Is like, he's just swept everything away. Shinji's like upset by the idea, but it's like, no. I mean, Gendo's not thinking of you, Shinji, as his son, like with his wife. He's thinking of his relationship with his partner, who is gone.
Yeah.
So he is doing what he can to sweep away things that will remind him of that, so he can focus on her not being gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like it's that very interesting thing where it's like, because Shinji's not had that closure.
Yeah.
We don't have any kind of indication that, how is Shinji informed? Shinji in movie 1 says it's been like 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we know there's been a separation in time. It's like, so we don't know what's going on. What does Shinji know that Gendo has done in the intervening time? All we can see is, like, he shows up, his dad says, get in the machine, and then Shinji finds out, like, you got rid of everything of Mom's? It's like, he doesn't know the path that Gendo has taken to get to this moment. Yeah. And he has no idea the way this is going to come out in the end. Like, oh, baby.
So this scene, and I'm I'm thinking of this, and in a way it's funny, and in a way it's not. I'm thinking of this as we're talking about this, and then there's the realization that Gendo, I don't think sleeps, and I'm being serious. I don't think he really. Yeah. There's no downtime. To quote Henry Rollins, downtime leads to introspection. Introspection is bad. What can I do to most massively F myself up?
Right.
It's part of his Rollins spoken word. And it seems like Gendo is like coasting on like cocaine and amphetamines and just going. Because you never see the guy sleep. He's in space at one point. Yeah. Just like, okay, where did we go? Yeah. How did that? Wait a minute.
Yeah. I was just like, wait a minute, whoa. Yeah. We missed the entire launch sequence. How the hell did you get there?
The wings of Hones.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's part of, how he's taken his grief and he's channeled it in such a way that it's like, all barriers are gone. You know what I mean? No holds barred. The man is just desperately moving forward. So no sleep. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me if you said like, oh, he cat naps, because every single moment is entirely focused on what is going on. Shinji be damned, Asuka be damned, you know, to a some degree, Rei be damned, because it's about getting to his goal.
You could argue that.
I was just gonna say it's the magic of Gendo Akari.
You could argue that the first movie is about loss and kind of abuse, while the second movie is about dealing with loss and abuse and kind of moving past it.
Yeah.
Or attempting to, perhaps.
Channeling it.
It's a good point, Patrick.
In a disturbing way.
Well, you think about End of Evangelion and some of the scenes in there, and that absolutely feels like the actions of a sleep-deprived man.
Yeah.
Right? And as you say, like some of the later stuff, it would make sense. So Shinji attempts to go home, but is interrupted by an angel attack, and the arrival, the much heralded arrival, because as soon as this happens, I think all the fans, all they need to see are the red legs, and I'm sure all of the audiences in Japan just erupted at the arrival. The let's be honest, absurd arrival.
Yeah.
Of Asuka, but again, she does not land on a battleship, right? This is not the same entrance she had in the TV series. She's just coming in and taking this thing out from the air.
And this is what I mean, and this is what I'd said before. It's like how many issues having watched the TV series, all this other stuff. It's like I was very pleased the way that they went in the second film, because it gave me so much more. Like I loved watching that air fleet come in. I loved watching the airdrop. I loved watching all this stuff in a way that took me away from being like, oh, Shinji's a punk and Gendo's a real jackass and I don't like these people. And it's like, okay, shut up, me. Just enjoy the fact that this is like an incredible piece of action going on here. And it's incredibly rendered. I'm like, yeah, there we go. Now I'm really on board. Like,
so
hooray.
So I have to say that particular angel design is thus far my favorite.
Really? Yeah.
It's freaky.
It is. It's a clock, but it's freaky.
To me, it's one of the what are those? The dunking birds?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
For me, it was like a clock, and I kept thinking of the Doomsday Clock.
That's what I was about to say. It's like, it's the countdown to 0 for Doomsday for mankind.
Yeah. But of course, Asuka can't help taking it out.
Of course.
And we get, again, a completely different introduction to Asuka. Instead of the summer dress, we get her in her plug suit. And again, you were talking before about like adaptation. I think it was really smart of them to say, there's only so much we can get into this movie. There are only so many times you're going to see her in her plug suit. Like, there's only so many iconic things we can put in here. Let's throw her in her plug suit because, well, things happen later in this movie.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
They do.
Woo!
Indeed, do they.
But still, absolutely Asuka, and doing all the Asuka stuff.
Oh, yeah. Although I do miss the drawing down of the pants scene.
Right.
That always got me. That will give me a chuckle every single time.
Definitely classic. But again, I think an effective way of introducing the character, both in terms of awesome moment, but also just enough of her to recognize, okay, yep, that's the personality is still there.
Yeah.
I love how she sweet kicks.
She's living the dream we all have.
And of course, we Kaji showing up, and I think you do a more effective job here. I think Kaji in the TV series, I wouldn't say more effective, but they take a different tack here, I think, where in the TV series, Kaji is just kind of a character. He's just another character in Eva, and then later on you find out, oh, he has all of this, backstory and all of this, double life type of stuff. And he's much more sinister this time around. From the beginning, okay, this is a guy we should not trust who has his own agenda. And I think that again, it works for a movie where you have to compress the time.
Well, and but for the movie itself, the way he is, it's almost like he's more nuanced. It's you know what I mean, like where it's like he's sinister, but if you watch the TV series, it's like he's not just a sort of a flat character. Like there's reasoning behind things, and you're sort of digging around. Hey, let's go out to the garden, and hey, let's do stuff, and hey, how things are going, and I'm just kind of schmoozy, and it's like, no, he's nuanced in a way that you're like, wow, okay, you're not just like protagonist, assistant D, and then you'll make this next thing happen. It's like, no, you're genuinely an interesting kind of character, because it's like, how do you fit into all this, and what exactly do you know? And it's like that makes him another element to this, where it's like, thank you, now I've got something else to look at and something else to be like, this is
in the series. In the series, he shows up. You realize that he, fairly quickly, you realize that he's an agent. That he is working towards Nerve's goal, we think, in the series. Yeah, Seal's goal. But you never really know that until a certain point in the series. Here, you're right off the bat, he's just like, okay, you guys are fighting this thing, and I'm off. See you later. Bye-bye. This is my cue to leave. And you're just like, wait, what are you doing? So you immediately know something's different. Then he shows up, and then he lets slip that he knows who Shinji is, and that kind of thing. He's just like, gotcha. And they're just like he and his friends, and Shinji and his friends are just sitting there going, "What the hell is this guy?" And he shows up with Gendo with the thing, and then you're just like, "Oh, this is a guy. This is somebody. This is somebody," and you still don't have enough to put together just yet, but you know that there's something underlying. And the way he acts, you're just like, oh, you are. Oh, okay.
There's something interesting going on.
Patrick is saying in chat that he feels Kaji is way less creepy in the movie. It's an interesting take, because you do have much more time in the TV series to see all the different sides of him and all the different kind of thing. I think your imagination can run a lot more wild in the TV series about what his agenda might be and so forth and so on. Whereas in the movie, I think he feels more like an agent in a spy movie.
Secret agent, man.
That's
exactly it.
Which I think, again, it feels more nuanced. It's like it clicks in on the things that help you sort of address who he is and how he knows things, and it makes you interested in the character more. It's not just a vehicle that's just plugged in at various points. It's like I'm curious now about his character genuinely.
And the watermelon patch scene actually means more. Means a lot more to me in this than it did in the series. In the series, it was just kind of like, oh, we're going to talk about this serious subject, and then we're going to go into a different direction to be funny. This is, he's at the end of it, he's just like, I can't do this. You got to do it.
I mean, it's much better window into his mind than you get in the TV series.
And then Shinji and Asuka, living together. Which is the point at which I think the movie takes a turn. This is a much funnier movie than 1.0. There's a lot of straight up cartoony reactions in this movie. Which again, I really appreciate it, because I think there's space for it. There's reason for it. As the characters are kind of getting to know it, getting to interact more. And the plot works that way, and I was like, thank you. Again, kind of playing around with these scenes as opposed to making it feel angst all the time.
Well, I just enjoyed the scene where they're arguing and Asuka's just keep opening and closing the door. The Japanese. Suddenly besides
Well, it does make me wonder for the cartoony sort of like lightning, whether there was like generally, storyboarded out, and it was really heavy, and like people sat down and be like, oh, really, this is going to be like something that's going to be really tough for people to sit through an hour plus on, and be like, we need to do something to like let them come up for a breath of air.
I don't know. Like there was a lot of comedy at this stage in the TV series too. Like dropping the pants. So I think it might have been just they were like, it could have been sort of meeting halfway, but they were like, there's comedy in the original, so it works, and this could be really serious and dramatic. So let's make sure that we punch that up, so that it doesn't get that bad, so to speak. Certainly possible.
Yeah, I was gonna say because if you had removed it worked fine for the TV series, and I expected that out of it. You know, no offense, but I mean, I expected that out of the TV series. You're gonna have some goofy stuff happening.
Yep.
But you know, going back and looking at this, be like, if you had removed that, this is just like a crushing weight of a film to watch. Like you need something in there. It's like, okay, so they brought that over from the TV series to be like, that's fine, but it's like, you know, somebody had to have been like, let's just keep going with that thing because I think it's better.
Perhaps. Can't say. We also get, and this scene makes me laugh every time, Asuka discovering Pen for the first time.
Yes.
And the gag
just
with
like
the,
Shinji.
Yep, the gag with the can and the little straw.
Yeah, I love this. It's like, really?
And I think they just reused the exact same animation. Like, I think it's just literally just the same movement of the hand from the can, and just a different thing in the background. It's like, it's cute. I completely agree, Patrick. The one thing missing from this movie is the dance sequence. The synchronization of Shinji and Asuka and that whole sequence, I think, was really well done. And again, obviously cut for time, but I think it I was waiting for that in the movie, and when it didn't happen, I was like, oh, you know. But yeah, we get a bit more with the characters. Yeah, Pen just exists. Well, Pen's God.
Well, Pen is well, you see him at the conservatory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
addressing the other penguins.
Right, you do.
Oh, worship me.
Yeah. And so we get all that, and then we get a freaking Mamoru Oshii sequence. With the whole, you know, the turning of the solar panels and like a plane going over, which is a classic, you know, Mamoru Oshii move, just this plane going overhead, all these people just going on about their daily lives in Tokyo 3, and it just...
Ghost in the Shell.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I've watched anime too, I was saying. And then you get this really interesting moment of Shinji coming down and seeing, and obviously being Shinji. But then he looks up and he smiles and waves at his friends. And it's like, oh, okay, all right.
Shinji has friends.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing. Yeah.
And we definitely get that sense of normality. And the reason I bring this up is because in the TV series, one of my, I wouldn't say complaints, but one of the unfortunate sort of things that happened is that Shinji does get to a better place in that, like, the middle third of the TV series. He's pretty stable. But that's the exact same point that Asuka comes in, and it becomes sort of the Asuka show for like 7 episodes. And so you don't really see much of Shinji for that period until things happen, and Shinji has has to take out the other Eva, and he plunges back into depression again. And so I appreciate that in the movie we get a bit of that. We do get a bit of, okay, Shinji's starting to come out of his shell. He's starting to kind of get there. He's getting a normal life. He's hanging out with his friends. Although
his friend who, like, you know, kicked the tar and feather out of him for injuring his little sister, but if you can't love the people that hurt you, what can you do?
Wait. We'll get there as well.
Kiss with the fist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so and then
he loves his daddy, doesn't he?
Yeah. And then, to your point, Gendo in space.
Although it does give us two really great images.
Mm-hmm.
It gives us the image of the thing on the moon.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That god-awful monstrosity.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then when they say it's terrible what they did to the Earth. Yeah. And you see it.
Yeah.
I don't think we see that in the series. Mm-hmm. And you see it, you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, well, we have this abstract knowledge that the angels are coming in.
Something bad happened.
Something bad happened. Oh, it's that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the whole,
yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the whole thing is this like red hole, and
Yeah,
it's just looks
can't
like
fight it, but yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
The ship that Gendo and his buddy are on.
Yeah.
God, it
Why
reminds
does
me so
that
much of
remind me
Gundam.
from like a 1960s? There's a
Space?
1960s.
No,
Space
it reminds
1999.
you it's 99.
Yep, that is.
1999.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it is-
I was like,
it is
I
very
know
much-
that ship.
Yep.
No,
Why?
yep.
I'm like,
Yep.
okay, Space
Yep.
1999. Thank
Because
you.
again, Ano is a nerd.
I had a friend who had a die-cast model.
Ah,
of that
nice.
ship. I was like,
I actually had that. I had the thing.
that was
if,
cool.
if you want a plastic model, apparently they made a lot of them back in the day, and they did not sell. So if you go on eBay, you will find many of those models for sale now.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. Yeah, you look at like sci-fi models, plastic models on eBay. That's like half of them. It's kind of sad.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, then we go to the aquarium, classic school field trip.
Yes.
And we
Who
get-
doesn't love an aquarium?
I again, the sequence does make me laugh every time. Of all of them taking all of the the various baths, all
yes.
of them flailing, and
That was
always
hilarious.
Ray in the background just sort of standing there,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm used to this. And everyone else is just like, I'm
Decontamination.
dying. I'm dying.
Which is nice to see at like this point. They address the red water.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know what I mean? It's like, thank you. Rather than just like starting out, be like, oh yeah, Tokyo Bay, it's all red, and moving on. Be like,
Yep.
no, why? What the hell's going on here? And it's like they actually address that. They actually discuss, like, oh yeah, all these species they can't survive in that. I'm like, thank you. I really was curious to know.
Yep.
It was just it was kind of interesting for me to see like how in this universe the kids immediately don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah. What's that thing with the shell on its back?
Yeah, and yeah, it just looks like this. Oh, I think it's called a turtle. I'm like, it's a freaking turtle. Of course it is. But
You guys don't have like mutual Omahas or anything like that. What's wrong with you people?
It's all destroyed. And again, to that point, the scene communicates world building. It's also an important character moment for Rey. She can only survive. But it's also a moment of symbolism of, what are the children but trapped in this little box, can't go anywhere except, in Nerve HQ, basically that's where they are as well. And so I think it works well symbolically in the film, too. And we get a, fun little moment with all the characters hanging around having their lunch in the aquarium. And yeah, and again, nice scene. Yeah, there we go. We cut back to space. I forgot, and there we see the hole in the Earth. Big red angry hole. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what else. Oh, and we get the Nausicaa moment as well with Misato getting saved. Just straight up Nausicaa, the whole pencil sketchy thing. And then we get the next angel, where they all have to work together. And again, this is one of those things where this basically replaces some of the stuff in the TV series of synchronization and so forth. Yeah. But I think it works really nicely as this sense of we have this really desperate thing and we need all three of you to do this thing all at once. And Asuka doesn't want to because she's Asuka. But
she can do it on her own.
She can do it.
She's
Yeah,
fully capable.
Fully capable, exactly. And then here's where I think we get the first, like, actual hint where Shinji goes, sitting in the Unit 1 feels like mom, and it feels like Rey. I was like, you're perceptive, Shinji.
This is why Gendo threw all the pictures away because he doesn't want you to. Oh god, this is just horrible.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those. That is a great way for for your audience, if you haven't seen any of this before, to go, why the hell would he say that? What a weird thing. It's like, no, he's right.
Yeah, and for everybody else to be like, "Oh, Creepsville, no!"
No, let's not go. Oh, we have to go there, don't we?
Oh, we do.
I also appreciated, and again, just as an animation geek, when all the three Evas start, and they're all in the running positions. Shinji starts off, and he starts off a little slow. Asuka slips, and Rei just moves efficiently. Just this straight line the entire time. Yeah, good. Thinking it through. And then it comes in, and again, Shinji's getting there. Like he's one who gets there, and he's like, "All right, Masato, do the thing." She does the thing, and like there's clearly now a simpatico thing between him and Masato, and Shinji is just focused. It's really great to see. And sure enough, they do the thing despite the pain, despite everything else. And it's just a really to me this is a classic Evangelion, Evangelion versus Angel scene, sequence. This is everything I would want out of this sequence. Let's see here. If Rei is a clone of his mom, why is her hair blue? That's a good question. I've never heard the answer to that.
Yeah.
Could be a cloning thing. I don't know.
Because we have to have some difference. We just will just go no
Yes.
and just turn everything off.
Because it looks better in a model.
Gendo thought her hair would look better blue.
Yeah. And then again, another shocker.
Goodness.
Yep.
As
Good
Gendo,
job.
Gendo does the thing. He literally calls Shinji and goes, "Good job." And it's like, wow. Because I remember watching this and going, that's awesome. He's manipulating him again.
Yep.
He's telling Shinji
Yeah.
exactly what he wants to hear. Yeah. And it's like, oh, how genuine is this? I don't know.
Hey, as long as it keeps Shinji and the robot, that's all that matters.
Right.
I'm sure
Which,
Shinji's happy.
as we found out, that is a foolproof plan.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
Set of arms and legs is better than nothing, right?
Right.
Dummy plugs don't work so good in the end.
Whoa! Actually. And we get a little scene between Asuka and Shinji, which is, I'll admit, this is one of the scenes that for me didn't work too well. When Asuka comes in and lays down next to Shinji, and they have a little talk. It just didn't feel very Asuka to me.
No.
Especially, in panties and a shirt. Just felt a little like, really? She'd do that? But it serves the purpose of having them talk out a little bit about what they're doing.
Yeah, I could have lived with that with them, something noise in the kitchen, and
Right.
Shinji gets up and goes in. She's just sitting down having a glass of water or something.
Right,
and they have
yeah.
the same conversation.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And,
It's like this felt like edging little fan servicey
it
edge on that.
is 100% fan service. There's no question.
Yeah, where it's
Yeah.
because the conversation can occur without that scene.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
That's fine. Hey, however you get people in the theater, right? That's
Right.
fine.
Yeah, and this is not the first or the last time that we see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Rei putting on her plug suit.
Right.
Anybody who's putting on a plug suit.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Mario Illustrious putting on a plug suit. Oh, that fits very nicely. Stop doing that.
And I really like the visual storytelling here, where we see Shinji all throughout the movie looking across the classroom at Rei. Because it's something they did in the TV series, but in the movie they repeat it, and they repeat it several more times. You're like, why are they doing this so often? And then we see Shinji preparing meals. And I remember at the time, something in the back of my brain said there's something odd about this shot of the meals. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I realized now it's too many meals. It's like, why is he preparing 4 meals? That doesn't make sense. And then, of course, you realize he made one for Rei.
Yep.
And brought it over. And what a sweet, sweet thing for him to do.
Well, it's interesting because his experience with her living space is bloody gauze, like stark and institutional environment, and medication.
Yep.
It's like there wasn't anything like, particularly like homey or like, real, like the synthetic kind of stuff that she's ingesting all the time.
Yep.
It's like, oh, so he's done something like, hey, have some real actual food.
Yeah.
Hey, here's something that doesn't remind you of the Saw movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not cup noodle, which you're used to, I'm sure, but here, have a real meal.
By the way, this actually just connected to me right now. Ray doesn't eat. Like literally, we never see her eat. And later on,
doesn't she take in some of the miso soup though?
No, she can. I mean, she is able to consume food, but we never see her
show her.
Yeah, she never eats at a meal. And when she is with Gendo later on, she has pills on her plate.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, as a clone, I wonder if that's a thing. That she can't like ingest full meals, really. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
She's living the Jetsons life.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, here you go. Here's that pill, that pill, that pill.
Yeah. So we get Masato and Kaji, and here's Masato and Kaji arc. And then I'm trying to remember. Then we get and now we start finding out more about Rei, and we see Rei in the actual Bacta tank. With Gendo. And we're like, oh, okay, gotcha. Now we know. By the way, and let's just get this out of the out of the way. Naked wearing a collar. Not subtle. Let's just put it out there.
It's just a heart monitor around her neck.
Right.
That's all. Mm-hmm. It's just simple.
Totally.
It's not showing submission to Gendo's
not at all.
plan.
Right. But to that point, this is where it starts to change. This is where it starts to fall apart for Gendo. Because this is where Rei starts to act on her own.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to do the thing. And Gendo goes, no, I can't. And then he sees Yui.
Yep.
And I love that he gets like 90% through the scene, sees it, and goes, like, damn it. Yeah, okay, I can do that.
Well, when she's in the tank, the submission tank, and he goes, I would like to have dinner with you tonight. I think I actually had a visceral response to that. I was just like, oh, come on, really? Can't we just cut to the scene?
I know, Steve. You would have preferred if even and wear this dress and these shoes. They're like,
I would
God,
have been like, no.
Oh, jeez.
Well, better than saying don't wear anything at all. I mean, come on.
Stop it.
Fair enough, Brent. Fair enough.
but they get to the point where she's actually talking to him about the dinner. About dinner. Do you like this?
Yeah.
Do you? Yes, I do. Do you like that? Yes, I do. Do you like? And then she gets to the question of, let's have dinner with Shinji. And then suddenly he gives lie to everything else that he just said. And he goes, no, I'm busy. Oh, Yui, hi. I'm going to do that. And then I'm just like, oh, okay. This is the amphetamine breakdown. All right. This is where the, not enough cocaine in the world's going to stop that.
Exactly. It's really interesting. He kind of makes his decision, which is not part of the plan. And because
Gendo, everything's part of the plan,
right.
So not on plan is unusual.
And again, what I love about this moment is this is basically, in a sense, this is Yui asking Gendo to take care of it. Like, not just Yui, like Ghost Yui. Like, this is Yui in the moment saying, hey, you're not taking care of your son right. You need to do a family thing right now. And he's like, oh, yes, dear. Basically.
Yes, dear, I'm going to stop doing the creepy thing of trying to recreate Adam and Eve. But, okay. Yeah, fine.
Exactly. And then another sort of comedic scene with them all hanging around doing the tests, bored out of their skulls. Which again, I just appreciate the bit of comedy there. And then Mari shows up again, literally out of the blue.
Yep.
And this is again where I think Ano, it feels kind of awkward, her introduction, but there's also a certain element of Ano going, it's anime. Like, does it doesn't matter. Like she just shows up. It's okay, you know.
Well, I think it argues towards her being a trained professional again.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't show up on a train.
Oh!
She doesn't show up on a boat.
Yeah.
She shows up by infiltrating the area. She comes in. She's a trained person to operate a parachute. She's not just like flailing, falling down. Yeah, okay. The anime part is like she lands on Shinji.
Right.
But here you have a trained operative who's inserted like clandestinely into this area. This is the target. She's supposed to get to the school.
Right.
And she is parachuted in, and she, fumbles with Shinji, but that's still fine. It's like, okay, this is another point. She's a trained person doing this thing. Like, oh, okay.
And it's really kind of weird how she she has the conversation on the phone, and she goes, "Well, just make sure the extraction happens." And you're just like, okay, more to the professionalism. But then she turns around, and she goes, "Hey, this didn't happen, right?"
Right.
Which is a lot like Kaji. Like that's the operative element of her training, where he's doing his little thing, he's got other things going on, and so's Mari.
Yep.
She's got her thing and her objectives and her directives to do the thing. I'm like, gosh.
Although for a moment there, when she sniffs him out, I thought she was gonna bite him. For a moment there, I was just like, "Oh God, this is the eating scene, isn't it? This is where this is where it all goes south." But she sniffs him out, and she's, "You smell good. You smell like the fluid." I'm just like,
Hey, no king shame.
What's that?
Yeah. I mean, you could have gone like full on fan service and had her like nibble his ear or something like that. So, they did a good job to dial it back a little bit, so you're just slightly creeped out. Like, okay, cool.
Again,
no a little weird. This is
But the thing is that she does that intimate moment so that when she gets up, she goes, "We're not going to talk about this." I think that was all part of the thing, and then she disappears. Now, if it was me, and that happened to me, if I was Shinji, some busty girl just dropped out of the sky on top of me and sniffed me out, I'd be like, guys, look, let me tell you what happened. And probably everyone would be like, well, no, that didn't happen.
Well, no, this is the thing.
Stop reading manga.
But this is the thing. The reason Shinji is so shocked is because he knows there are men in black watching him at all times.
Right.
And nobody stepped in on this. So he's like, wait a minute. Like there are wheels within wheels going on in this scene of like you should have been tackled by now. Like something is going on weird here. But I also realized just now there is a little reference to what we were talking about before with Mari's character, because she falls down and she immediately does a classic anime trope. My glasses.
Megame.
Yeah, Megane. Which, again, may have been a reference back to that, her being the clumsy girl. Just a little bit of that into the shot. But I was like, that's cute. And then Kaji shows up and creeps on Shinji for a moment because you can't not have that. And takes him out to the watermelon field, as you were saying. And I really like the scene. I think it got across a lot in that very Kaji way, where he's playing a long game, and this is all very deliberate, but he is also not a psychopath entirely. Right. He is like, hey, you're with Masato. I know realistically, like, Masato, even if we have a fling, even if something happens, like, her heart's not in it. This is not going to be a long-term relationship with her. But Shinji, you and her have a relationship, so let's spend some time together, get an idea of where you are, and see if you can actually protect her. Really cool scene. And then back to
which I didn't want it. But it did sort of like drift through my mind, be like, this would be the perfect opportunity if Kaji was really like, be good to Masato, don't do anything crazy, because you realize bodies are good fertilizer for watermelon. This would have been an interesting moment. You could have been injected some sinister moment about the watermelon field and but no. It's like, no, it's
Yeah,
actually
true.
a very nice
That's a good
scene.
point.
It gives a little more flesh to the background of Kaji. It doesn't make him menacing in that way.
It's a great point. And you could play for comedy, right? Where he's
Right.
just kind of, doing that, or it could play menacing. But it's a very straight scene into that.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Yeah. And then I do have to say we get more shots of the city, and this is where the CGI background characters stopped working for me. Because there's some where they're just kind of going through there at like 5 frames a second. It's like you need something else in front of those things for us to not notice them and be focused on them. So a few shots in the movie where it does kind of.
Well, the scene where Masato does the Tokyo drift on the exit ramp.
Yeah.
You ever notice that the cars that go into the underpass and suddenly they're not there on the other side?
Oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah.
It's advanced teleportation.
There we go.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
And speaking of fan service,
Magic, Steve. Shut up.
Speaking of fan service,
Aquarium magic.
Asuka cooking in a bra and a and a apron on. It's like, sure, okay, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Which again, in character, right? Like it's not ridiculous, but still, it's kind of like, yeah, sure, right.
Right. It's not a naked apron, so
Right.
We've dialed it back by a piece of clothing. Awesome.
Exactly. Well, 2 pieces of clothing. She's wearing shorts.
Okay, true. Well, I was just talking about the upper portion that they do actually look at fairly cleanly, and then it's like, okay,
it's very clear.
You took the high road on that one, ish.
Middle road, maybe. Middle road on that. And then Next Angel shows up. Not Next Angel shows up. Unit 6 is wiped out. Which again, just a bit of world building, a bit of escalating the tension there. Nothing too crazy, but just a little bit of bad things happening.
Yeah.
And then just again a bit more just kind of randomly building things up. Another meeting with Sealy. Asuka finding out that her unit's being mothballed temporarily, and her as expected reality to that. Yeah, basically. And then we get. This is a scene where I practically stood up and cheered. The elevator scene.
Oh.
For those who haven't seen the TV series, there is a famous scene in the TV series where they had to stretch their budget a little bit. And so Asuka goes into an elevator. It's Asuka and Rei in the elevator for, I think it's like 45 seconds.
Yeah,
and it's just this shot. There's just in the background. It's just them in the elevator, nothing moving, nothing, just them.
Asuka glaring and Rei just like
right.
And for 45 seconds, you're
for
just
45 seconds, they're going from like level 1 to like level 3 million. I mean, so it takes a while.
Yeah. Obviously, a scene that fans were not thrilled with in the original TV series. Like, okay, we can tell what's happening here.
Yeah, there's not a lot to look at in this scene. No offense to that. But, yeah.
And so Asuka's sitting there, and she kind of, and then she turns on Rei. And I love Ano playing with the audience a little bit of going, I could do it. I could totally do this. I could totally just
I could totally take you off. Here's another 45 seconds of you just going,
Exactly. But then you have, the conversation where suddenly Rei fights back, like verbally. And if you recall in the original TV series, Asuka slaps Rei.
Let's not,
She just whack. And this time, no. Rei grabs the arm, and we get the lovely symbolism. And I'll see if I can find it. Yeah. Of all the bandages on Rei's fingers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how much she is working at this. And how much effort she is putting in that Asuka is not. And I love that Asuka knows it. It is not lost on Asuka at all that she thinks she's hot, but really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just great sort of inversion of that scene, which is an important character moment. Let's see here. Remember and then the Masato Kaji scene, which is just kind of a thing. To me, this felt like a little bit of a wasted scene. The two of them, like it establishes who they are and what's going on and so forth, but we don't really move anywhere with it, which felt unfortunate.
Yeah.
Like
I was waiting for the gunshot.
Right? Yeah. Waiting for something. I love the ambiance. It's a beautiful scene, but it just kind of feels like okay.
We're just padding out the time for the film. That's
Kinda,
all, just
yeah.
trying to hit that critical time.
Yeah. And then Ray calls Asuka and thanks her. Okay, movement, action. That's good. And then I'm trying to remember. Yeah, and then we have Asuka suiting up, and again, what a scene. Because we get a couple things going on here. Those of us who've known the TV series, we know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And we know this is not the character that's supposed to be here doing this. And we're like, are they can't. They can't do that. That's not what's going to happen. So what's going to happen?
Here, happen. All right.
You have Asuka finally having an actual conversation with somebody. And having a conversation that she actually, like, opens up a little bit about and starts to feel a little bit better about and starts to become a normal person about. And you have her, like, deliberately call out how absurdly fan servicey these pug suits are.
Yeah.
Because, and again, I remember when like that visual was revealed on the internet, and the internet was like, really? Like this must be like Sadamoto playing around with us. Like you don't actually put that in the movie, right? And she's
it's there.
Yeah.
And here it is.
Yeah. And I love her line, like, what pervert designed this suit? It's like,
Yeah.
well,
So the lead up on when they're bringing the Ava in, the new Ava in, and I'm sorry, this is going to be such an obscure reference for some people. As they're bringing it in, I actually really did have the song "Suicide is Painless" going through my head as because they have from Ash because in the movie Ash movie, which started the series, they actually have a character who wants to die, and so they mock him. They give him a mocktail to say that he died, and then they fly him through a helicopter, and he's just doing that.
Okay.
He's being flown around, and then the song "Suicide is Painless" is playing underneath it.
Wow.
So here you have this Ava in the Christ-like figure, nailed to the cross, whatever, being transferred, and the song "Suicide is Painless" going through my head. And then, like you said, you have all this stuff that's coming up, and Asuka's having a real conversation, and Misato's going, "You're going to have all these wonderful new experiences," and that's when I go, "No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're wearing a red shirt. No, you're not."
Yep. Yep. Exactly. And just the buildup of all this, and then the fact that and Asuka sits in and she's all content and she's like, I feel like a new lease on life, basically. And you're like, oh no, we're gonna do it.
Death flag.
Exactly. Yeah.
No.
Wow. And I so appreciate deeply the fact that she climbs in, she has this weird psychedelic experience, and we cut away. And we never see Asuka from that point on through the rest of the sequence. We have no idea what's going on in there. There's no screams. There's no nothing. Like, thank you for not traumatizing us with that, with what she's going through in there. As it goes berserker. And everyone realizes what's going on. And then of course we have the classic thing, and this plays out pretty much like the TV series, as I recall, where he sees it coming. It's even pretty much the same music. He realizes what he has to do, so they engage the dummy plug system, and it as he is kind of dying, and take it out. switch it over. Gendo makes the decision that we got to switch it over. And here's the thing. Seeing this scene initially, obviously Shinji doesn't want to do the thing. He doesn't want to attack. He was hesitant before, but this time I felt the hesitance totally felt earned. It wasn't like I am frozen up. It was like I am deeply uncomfortable with doing this. Like, he was willing to fight, but it didn't feel like him running away or him being whatever. Right. He was just like, morally, I am not ready for this. And then just things happen faster than he could kind of react to it.
Yeah.
So to me, that worked for this sequence. And then, of course, they have to do the double plug system. And it does its thing as it goes berserker and goes all bestial and basically consumes the other Eva. And then again, we do get the one moment where it has the entry plug in there, and we see it bubbled. So we know, okay, things have happened inside there. And then we hear Asuka scream, but again, I appreciate that we hear the scream, but it's not long and drawn out. It's it's not any of that. It's just, okay, she felt pain, and then it was over. Thank you. And then we cut back to everything going on, and Shinji is going flipping insane. And again, this is one of those things where I was like, thinking back to all the moments in the TV series where Shinji kind of turns, this feels earned, right? This felt to me like it is clearly. Again, at one point says we don't have time for his tantrum, basically, and I'm like, it's accurate. This is a tantrum, but it does feel like somebody being pushed so far, so hard, and asked to do something morally reprehensible that he's just kind of snapped, and he's just it's the kid throwing the punch. At his dad's stomach or something. Just the ball of rage is like, how could you, ask me to do this?
Yeah. Well, it's like he's not, when he recognizes that the plug can't eject.
Yeah.
It's trapped in the other unit, and it's like it's going through his head. It's like he's not fighting an angel.
Yeah.
He's not fighting like some dispassionate robot that's just he needs to shut it down.
Yeah.
He's got to do a thing that's going to result in the death of another person.
Yeah. He has to murder a girl.
Murder a girl that he knows that has some connection to.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, so that's a different thing that's being asked of him. It's like an angel is sort of a disembodied, great big giant something that he's not friends with.
Yeah.
That he doesn't live with.
Yeah.
That he doesn't, have any kind of connection to. And it's like, and now it's like, hey, that person that you live with, go ahead and kill them.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, crap.
Yep.
So, you're right. Shinji's got like valid reasons to like be completely off his rocker right now.
And he's 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, what did
I'd stomp on Nerve headquarters.
I mean, seriously, what would you expect from a 14-year-old kid?
Yeah.
And with the ability going, oh, you know what? I've got this thing that I'm in now, and I'm not happy. So here I am pounding the crap out of this headquarters. And this is but you're right. This is the one point where it's plausible, and it's not plausible. It's entirely understandable why he would act this way. It's not Shinji being emo. It's not him being wishy-washy. All that stuff. It's actually him just being, okay, this is what I do every day, that he's not really trained for, honestly.
Right. I mean,
and which is the big difference between him and Marie, and that kind of a thing. And he comes in, and everyone at Nerve. Okay, so the fact that everyone's still inside the Nerve headquarters things, I'm just like going, isn't there like another like command bunker maybe all of you could move to?
Yeah. Start thinking a sub basement. Just saying.
Yeah, could you move there because
there's enough armor. Shinji can get through that.
It would be hilarious if we cut to like a root cellar. And they're all just huddled in a root cellar.
Like like canned goods on shelves. Really? We're Nerve, and this is what we're reduced to. Shinji's gone nuts in the robot. What do you want us to do? Like, pass me the peaches. Yeah. Okay.
Which reminds me of my favorite Far Side cartoon of all time. It shows nuclear explosions going on above, and then below it's a bunker with cans and cans and cans and cans, and an old couple, and the woman is going, "You should put in you should put a can opener down there." I said, "Just put a can opener down there." At some point, I said. Anyway, which is why when Shinji then refuses to pilot this time, again thinking back, I was like, this is so different than what happened before.
Right.
You know, Shinji doesn't run away. Shinji is essentially refusing to cooperate with his abuser and an abusive organization. He's like, no, this is wrong, you're wrong. And further, you just built a an automated system that pilots the EVA exactly the way you want to. So, great, do that. I will have no part of this anymore. And the fact that Shinji is standing there, looking his father in the face, full on, and saying, I refuse to pilot the EVA, is just such a welcome shift from what happened before. Where, yes, again, he is turning his back on it, but he's not running away. He's not just, I can't handle it anymore. He's like, this is a moral decision on his part. Which I just really appreciated.
Well, you're seeing Shinji's progression from being a 14-year-old kid to being a man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because of unusual circumstances.
Rather.
By any term. You know, it's unusual.
Yep.
And he's adulting into this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unnaturally, unexpectedly.
Right.
And this moment, it's like he's not looking up at Gendo from below and trying to be like, love me, daddy, love me, daddy. You're so far away from me. He's still far away from Gendo, but he's on the same level as Gendo, and he's addressing him in a more adult form of, I object morally and conditionally to this, unconditionally to this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, that's quite a maneuver to come to the same level. Like,
here's the thing: is that it scared the crap out of Gendo.
Yeah.
Because look at you put a 14-year-old kid in not just handcuffs, but those handcuffs.
Yeah. Like triple handcuffs. Yeah.
Okay, triple handcuffs. Okay, and he is feet away.
Oh,
like he is like easily 50, 60 feet away from the desk.
Yeah.
And so Gendo he's on the same level as Gendo, like at this point. And Gendo is just like, he tries one last thing. He really does try one more last manipulation. He goes, "Oh, you're running away again?" And Shinji's just like, "No." Yeah,
it bounces entirely off Shinji.
She's like, "F you, no. That's just not what this is about. This is, you are blankety blankety blank." And because we're not 10 o'clock just yet. But Gendo is keeping him away. And he's talking to him like he's 14, and he's like, "You have done this, you have done that, you have blah blah blah."
You're gonna spank it.
Yeah. So we're gonna slap your wrist, and I know that because you're a weak little whatever snot, then you're gonna want me to have my approval. So you're just gonna clap. Oh wait. Oh crap! This isn't working. Okay. And I think that in a perfect world, if we knew exactly what was going on his head, I'm pretty sure Gendo made that phone call from Sato. And said, try and keep him there. I mean, we'll keep tabs on, but if you keep him, there might, because she tries. She tries hard to keep him in the apartment.
And to that point, I think, to anyone saying that, Shinji's running away again, Misato doesn't think so. She's not sitting there going, "Oh, you're running away again." No, she's sympathetic. She's like, "I don't want you to run away. I want you to stay here." But it's much more of a, like, I see where you're coming from.
Well, her movement is not the slap that she did in movie one, and it's the grab. and she still misses.
Yeah.
So she loses in both, in whatever it is that she's trying to do. In one hand, she's fighting to be whether the mother or the superior officer. And this, she's doing the same way, doing the same thing. Chooses a different tactic, and she fails in that one too.
Yep.
Well, in the moment of slapping, she's in the same proximity as Shinji, and this where she misses grabbing him, Shinji's accelerating away from this. He's moving out of range of this. And it's like, that's, you know, his coming up to the level of his father, his getting out of range of her. It's like he's moving psychologically. You know, physically is the easier part to shove it. So obviously he's moving psychologically. He's progressing forward and away from what's going on. He's getting more of a sense of self. He's gaining his experience. He's gaining his own what is morally correct in this situation. And it's interesting to see that those steps going forward as he's you know, reaching takeoff to some greater thing.
Into space.
At this point, literally at this point, he's at the Gen X moment where we all want to see the world burn. You know, and he's just like he just like, because you know he's in the bunker, right? And everyone's being told to get out of the bunker, and he's just like, why? Just effing do it.
It's what's so interesting to me about this movie is this is where I felt like, oh, Anno's fixing Evangelion. Right, where it felt like these are all of the things that we complained about, you know, or that folks would complain about in the original series, where he was like, no, now I can actually like figure out how to justify all these actions. So when he does these things, you're like, oh yeah, no, I buy it. Like I'm with Shinji now. No, totally. And again, from Shinji's perspective, he's like, you know, you're part of the system. Like I can't be part of this because you are part of this abusive system that is doing all this, and just no. And again, the fact that like he's not making a secret of it, right? Like he is packing his bags, taking his things, leaving. And then
which again, it's another moment when he was walking out the door. It was like I half expected him to like put on a helmet and there to be like a swing right off the helmet top. You're like, you think you're really gonna go anywhere, Shinji?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, you know, Gendo's gonna like let this tantrum kind of thing because of the way he is. He's gonna let you have just enough rope. That you feel like you've done something, and then he's just gonna yank the chain back. Right. It's like, but you know, go Shinji, go.
Right. Well, it's the important psychological thing, right? Is that Shinji is setting boundaries for himself. He is finally saying, you know, I don't agree with this, and so it may not be the perfect decision, but I need to distance myself from the abuse, right? And at least just not be part of that, which is again a very healthy thing. It's like, other people might get hurt by the abuser, but I at least need the distance to be able to make the next step. And then next angel attack, and boy, things accelerate in here. Whew. You know, I did not expect in movie 2 to see Tokyo 3 just crumble at the beginning of a fight. All the buildings come down, and this thing just starts annihilating things. And so they call out, and again, you got to think about all the different things Anno was thinking about. Where imagine, you know, Anno going into an EVA fan club and saying, "So the new girl goes out in Asuka's Evangelion." And seeing everyone go, "No, you know, right? How dare you? How dare you?"
Rage!
Exactly.
Rage against the dying of the light.
Totally. And she does so, and she, you know, boy, what a great sequence of her just doing everything she can against this thing. And I particularly appreciate Mari, to that soldier point, her situational awareness, where like she's thrown and she's and she sees the thing coming in, dodges out of the way of that thing. Like she's always aware there's an enemy out there that she has to react to. And then she, you know, she becomes the beast.
They kick ass beast.
Kick ass, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just love this imagery of her and this idea that, how do you plus Evangelion, right? What do you do new with Evangelion? How do you push that forward? You introduce a character who deliberately goes into berserker mode.
Yeah.
Like, what a great idea.
So
release the limiters and just go.
Yep.
Like, yeah, cool.
It's this is the mythos of the Evangelion units, where all of a sudden everyone's just like, "An Eva can do that?" And I'm like, "Well, you built it."
Yeah.
So you should have some idea. You're part of the command center, and these rods that are spiking out, and she's going berserker mode, and there's this secret code. Somebody put the secret code there.
Steve, you're talking like the difference between command and engineering section. Engineering section, they're totally doing their own damn thing. Like, they don't tell anybody in the command unit what the hell's happening. Like,
it's just like, I just like, it just goes full beast mode and just wonderful. And this is how she does the thing. And like everyone at headquarters is like,
Yeah, like, wow. We've been using this stuff wrong the whole time. Like,
well, it reminded me.
We could have ended this like 15 years ago.
Well, and that whole thing reminded me a bit of Sword Art Online, where it's like, this new game comes out, and oh, by the way, the designer designed them to lock onto people's heads forever. And no one knew. It's like, really? You went through multiple phases of engineering and testing and all this stuff, and you had teams of hundreds of people, but nobody noticed it could lock onto people's heads, everyone's heads, forever. It's like, okay, sure.
Well, that's why you have the limitation of liability clause when you say accept or not accept. You hit accept, you say that's fine.
Can you imagine that rollout party? Oh, hey, we're going to try going to the new world. Get it off!
Hi, CEO of the company. I would like a big fat raise, or that helmet's not coming off. Like, we see the downside of this now.
The pretty lady who gives me food just poked her head here after I just started screaming. And she's just like, "Are you okay?"
No, but it's okay.
No.
Screams of joy, not that I stepped on a Lego. It's all fine.
Yeah, there we go. And then Ray shows up.
Yeah.
And again, what a wonderful bit of not character building necessarily, but sort of plot building of the idea that now Ray's ready to go, and she does this. Why? So Shinji doesn't have to. Where something that the maternal instinct is switching on for reasons. But then just kind of just the general of no, I see how much Shinji doesn't want to do this. And so I can do the thing, and that's, again, she sees herself as the tool.
But the difference in her facial expression is much more proactive.
Absolutely, yes.
So
there's emotion on her
other
face.
times,
Absolutely.
Other times that you've seen her that she's just operating the machine. It's like, no, now she's like, oh hell no, we're doing the thing.
Absolutely.
Like, wow, that's a Ray that's kind of unexpected. It's like, did you take the blue pills this morning with your other pills or something? It's got you more personality going on here.
Well, this is finally her just being, making her own decisions, making her own, whatever. And I
being
just love being a person who can manhandle a megaton warhead. And again, I just have to amaze myself at HQ. I was going, wait a minute, that's not a gun. No, it's a megaton warhead.
It's just handling it like so many 100 kilotons.
And wouldn't somebody somewhere have said, Rage got into Unit 2 and or Unit whatever and Unit 0, and she grabbed one of the nukes. Don't you think that would have been transmitted somewhere along the way?
Again, engineering? Because otherwise, Command, as Brennan said, they'd be in the root cellar right now like, oh, she's got like a super megaton missile, and she's going to detonate it right over us. We're all dead. Like, oh, boy.
But they do the thing, and again, Mari in beast mode, and I love the two of them working together. And again, it's one of those things where it's one of the reasons that I found this movie just so much more enjoyable, because Mari and Rei have no problem working together.
Yeah.
And it's just, we have to do the thing. We do the thing. No angst, no problems. Just do the thing, which is great.
Yeah, no Asuka insulting Shinji. No Shinji, doubting what he was doing or being at least hesitant.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, they're doing the thing.
Nope, absolutely. And then Rei actually, like, literally saves Mari, like, throws her clear of the blast, which I don't think I noticed the first time around. I was like, oh wow, like she thought that through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then very anime moment. Let's be honest, extraordinarily anime moment of Shinji in the shelter, sitting there, and then what should happen to blast through the door? With the head of Unit 2.
Yeah.
All right, sure, fine. That just happens.
He just sits there, staring at it like. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, and again, it's where Shinji before had been, let's be honest, kind of suicidally depressed, and I think this is one of those points where he's like, to your point, John. I think he's kind of like, or to your point, if so what, like, I think Shinji has very much made peace with the fact that he is likely going to die in this shelter, and that is and that is a reasonable outcome at this point. Like, he doesn't want it, but it could very well happen. And so
you think when this angel strikes, when you start seeing Tokyo 3 cascading down, it's like there is a shot in there where everybody's like standing on the street staring upwards.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, well, presumably, Shinji's sitting in this shelter and he's fully aware of the fact that like tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people just died above him and around him.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can kind of appreciate his, as Steve had said, like the Gen Z thing where it's like, screw it.
Yeah.
Like, good point.
Absolutely. And then Mari pulls him out, and I love how what Mari does here is, it is understandably motivated, where she's kind of like, just, it's no fun to be locked away. Like, I'm not going to leave you in here. I'm going to bring you out. But in bringing him out, it shows him what's happened. And it shows him the devastation and all that, and it shows him, oh no, because I wasn't here, all this happened. And then Anno just twists the knife by the very next image. Unit 0. Off at the legs.
Yeah.
And just the horror of that moment. Along with all of the monochromatic lighting of this scene, where Evangelion is so good about color, and now just everything is so drab and so lifeless. And it's definitely like one of the lowest points of the movie. And so Shinji starts to run, and you get again one of the scenes where I basically jumped out of my chair, when Shinji runs in, and we go back to 20 minutes into the TV series, where he's on the platform looking up, and he says, "I am Shinji Ikari, the pilot of Unit 1, Evangelion Unit 1." I'm getting a little verklempt with saying that, because it's like, thank God, right? Like, oh, what a wonderful, turnaround, what a wonderful shift in everything, to have this moment mirroring that moment, and to have Shinji go, no, I choose because I want to protect them. Not because you manipulated me into this, because I haven't seen you for the last, 2 hours.
Yeah.
This is my choice.
Well, it's when he left Misato, and she tries to give him his recorder, his ASMR recording, and he doesn't take it. Yeah. It's like he's slowly but surely casting things off. He locks himself in the box.
Yep.
But, very obviously and evidently, Eva intrudes on that box.
Yeah.
He has cast aside the stuff that helps him to escape, and he is, Eva has broken into the box and reminded him of what he has got to do to protect the things and the people that are important. And it's beyond Daddy.
Yep.
It's about Rei, it's about Asuka, it's about Misato, it's about the people that are in his life, and that the bits and pieces that have sort of fallen away, resulting in him in the box, the way that it's broken in has broken him open to have that moment where I am Shinji Ikari, I am the pilot. And it's like, cool. Now you just need like about 10,000 hours worth of training so you can use this thing, right? But talk to Mari. She'll be fine to like get you up to speed. You'll be good.
Absolutely. I'm sure.
She'll put you in beast mode.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. She might like it once or twice, but don't worry too much about it.
I mean, but he could do it purposely versus exactly. Accidentally.
Yeah.
And then this is where so then he does the thing, and it's a wonderful for me. This whole sequence and fight sequence has been wonderful, and it continues to be wonderful, except for the song that I don't think was appropriate for this.
Oh, I love the song. I love the song.
Yeah, I think it's appropriate maybe for something else. I recognize its utility, but through this thing, I mean, when I watch it, I was like, oh God, this song, okay. And going through it, and I feel that there could have been something different. But
fair.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice the song. I was just watching the action happening. I'm like, oh crap, things are really going down. Wow, cool.
But when he's doing it and things starting metaphysical, and he's reaching for Rei, and it's this, and then you start having all the other secondary characters talking, and saying, okay, this is the realization of this thing, and some of them are like, what's going on, and other ones are Riska is basically, oh yeah, this is the end of the world that we've all been working for, and Gendo is just like the human instrumentality project. And I'm just like going, so we're gonna put more holes in the world, and so it's all this is happening, and you have the wonderful moment of him grabbing Rei and Rei being allowed to be herself, being rescued. Put all thoughts aside about all the implications of that.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. And just revel in the moment that Shinji actually saved somebody.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He actually saved somebody. Like it's not just like some abstract idea on protecting the city or blah 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 blah. Yeah. Saving you.
Yeah.
Doing it. Doing it.
Absolutely.
Doing it.
Yeah.
Here I am. I'm doing it. I'm doing the thing.
Again, another.
If you all, I'm doing this.
Yeah. This is for me another one of those. Holy smokes! They are very deliberately sending a message about Shinji's personality now. That no, he is a hero now.
Yeah.
Very deliberately.
Well, to say he's in his, however that form he is, he's rescuing her. Yeah. Whatever metaphysical things are happening around the world in that moment, at that time, he is physically looking like pounding his way into there, like just trying to break through, regardless of the pain, regardless of the obstacles that are going on. He is breaking through this to do the heroic thing, to do the right thing, what he considers to be the correct and moral thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, wow, Shinji, that not to, be mean, but wow, Shinji, good job. You grew a pair.
Right?
Good job.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Absolutely. It's also interesting to me visually that he is still wearing his clothes. He doesn't go, weird, naked, glowy anime nudity thing. It's still very much Shinji, right? This is not Shinji in an abstract sense, or in a pure sense. This is Shinji as he is as a normal human being doing this, which I really appreciated. And again, just that very active thing. And even further, the fact that, Rei goes, no, it's fine. Like, it's okay. There are others, let it go. Like, I'm fine with this. Don't do anything. And Shinji basically goes, no, I'm going to save you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, earlier Shinji would have still tried to save her, but that would have stopped him. That would have paused him. right? Who would have been like, wait, what's going on, Father? What does this mean, right? No, he's like, don't care. I am saving you. Like, yes.
Which is a critical point you make, because that pause would have stopped him from saving her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So not having a pause and just driving forward is the only thing really, in essence, that gets him to save her.
Yep.
Any hesitation would have resulted in a completely negative outcome.
Yep.
Not that this was a super positive outcome, but
I also appreciate it, and unfortunately I can't screenshot it because there's a naked girl in it. But when he pulls her out, there is this determination on his face as he pulls her out. It's not, oh, thank goodness. It's not, yeah. It's, I did the thing. And it's just such a great little, visual thing of completing the action, which I just really appreciate. And then we get all these very apocalyptic imagery, and again, it's sort of like, oh yeah, oh no, everything's gonna fall apart.
And then we get the oyster spear from the moon.
Right? Yes. So the post credits. And again, this I do think this was really smart. Okay, we see this, and then we see the Spear of Longinus come in, because that's a thing from the original TV series. Like everyone is aware of that imagery, and to have it come in is like, oh no.
It's gonna get better. No, it's not.
No, it's not. I mean, at first it sounds like cascada music is going to come on, but no, it's not going to be. Yeah, it's not going to be good.
No. And then next episode preview, which, again, cool.
Well, you know what they did different this time, I think, is that they went through part of it, the ending of it, and then they went through, I think, some part of the credits, and then they showed him on the moon saying, "I'm coming for you, Shinji," basically, that coming down.
That was earlier in the movie.
Okay.
So that is partway through the movie. Yeah, we have the credits. I don't think that is in the credits anywhere. I'll go back through. I think it's just credits and then Spear of Longinus and then next episode.
Yeah.
And to that point though, like there are multiple moments in this movie where they are hinting at a certain character showing up, where they're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
We know the fans. We know what you want.
The oyster picker of doom.
Yes, exactly. And all of these various imagery of EVA 3.0 Q. Because we can't have a normal numbering system.
Of course not.
Besides, at the end of number 2, we're all just like,
right. It's also, I think, again, very smart. One of the things that they do is we get all this imagery, and I think it was brilliant for the very last image of this is Asuka with the eye patch. Because I remember watching this, and this wasn't in the version I saw in this, and maybe I watched 3.0, this is 3.33, but in the version I watched, after all that stuff happened in the battle, there's a line where somebody says, "What happened to Asuka?" and somebody says, "They're putting her back together from the scraps they can find."
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, and in this, you see just this you see her body in some giant big thing, but you see her hair splayed out. You see clearly her body is there. So because that was I think that was in a sense really cleverly creepy. That take on it of wow, they have the technology for that. We've seen all sorts of crazy things they can do. It makes sense that they could rebuild her. And I kind of like the idea of wow, they could kind of not to be really creepy, kind of scrape her up off the sidewalk and then reconstruct her from that. But I really like the fact that they're no, Asuka's going to be back and she's going to be fine, right? She may be beat up and so forth, but she's not out of the picture.
And the eye patch indicates that it wasn't necessarily the most successful reclonage.
Yes.
She should have an eye if she was cloned. So apparently they had more than $6 million, so they were able to rebuild her. Good.
Except they had the one guy who's just the eyeball's way up there. I just can't reach with the stick. It's okay. She only needs the one. Okay.
She doesn't need binocular vision. The robot will do it for her.
I'm imagining young Frankenstein and the brain jar, and
Yes.
Yeah.
I got a brain. Abby something. Abby what? Abby normal. You got an abnormal brain?
Yeah, so that's Captain Harlock eye patch. I think Dr. Version. That's an interesting call. I wouldn't be surprised if Anno's like give her Harlock eye patch.
Yeah. Then she gets her own space battleship. Wait
Right.
a minute. Where's this gonna go now?
Yeah. Boy, Asuka would not work in the Matsumoto universe. Boy,
No.
like that just would not fit there at all. Like we have plenty of like strong characters and so forth, but it's just there's too much melancholy in that universe for a brash girl like Asuka, I think.
Well, you know what? Hollywood's always looking for something different. Maybe they'll tack onto that and be like, let's try it. You're like, here we go.
I can see it. I can see it now.
I can see it failing miserably, but still,
Yeah.
nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
Exactly. So that's Eva 2.22. Any final thoughts?
I liked this better than the TV series.
Hey, nice. Good.
We're gaining ground. Doing good.
I'm actually still processing it.
Okay, fair.
And not in a bad way or not in a good way. I'm just still, processing it, and I enjoyed all the combat scenes. I really enjoyed it, and the world building and all that, and including the Oyster to the Pick of Doom. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just going to be focused on that because it's just a wonderful little instrument, and so I'm just waiting. I'm just, it's one of those things where it's just like 3 is coming up, and you're just like, I'm going to be slapped in the face so hard by this episode. And this is, like I said, new territory for me.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to sit down here and I watched this thing last night at like midnight. So,
Oh wow, yeah.
So I stay up late sometimes. So I don't think I'm going to do that with 3. I think I'm going to need,
Wise.
I think I'm going to need some drinking time because,
Yep.
I'm actually kind of dreading the next episode.
Okay.
Oh, you should. I've already seen it. I've seen it twice now, and it's like, no, it's good. You'll actually enjoy this one.
Oh, I'm sure I'll enjoy it,
Yeah,
but I'm just afraid of what's all the things.
There's a lot that goes on. It's
Really?
a film. There's a lot that goes on.
I'm shocked.
Spoiling it.
Yeah.
I ain't saying nothing.
I appreciate that. No.
I'm not getting in the robot. No, wait a minute.
And then Amuro shows up.
Because we do need somebody on the spectrum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the interesting thing about this movie too. I think is that you're at the end of the movie and like, where are they gonna go? Like where? It's not where can they go from here, but it's like they have gone so far beyond the TV series at this point. They're like, okay, I have no expectation of anything kind of remotely like the TV series at this point. So that it is fresh ground, which is very exciting.
Yeah, which is why I liked the getting into 2, getting into 3, because it's like, the path for the TV show, I'm like, I'm going to strangle Shinji, I'm going to strangle him. And even movie 1, I'm like, I'm going to strangle Shinji, I'm going to strangle him. And then by 2, it's like, okay, hey, here we go. And then 3, I'm like, thank you.
Nice.
Now I enjoy this. This is good. Well, enjoy it. Now I have like understanding of some things that are happening and why the things are the way they are. There we go.
There we go. Cool. Sweet. So that is EVA 2.22. Next week we'll talk about EVA 3.33.
Woo.
Yeah. And then eventually we will finish out the rebuild movies and see how angry we are with Anno at that point. But before then,
Well, is 3.1.5.7 whatever, is that available yet or not yet?
oh yeah, all the rebuild movies.
I
are
thought it
available.
was on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing is that I want to see how after there were 3.33 the one that came out theatrically within the last
3.1.0.
year or two. Yeah, I want to see that one. Really,
You
really
will
wanna do.
soon.
Yeah. Yay.
Bit of nightmare fuel to sit through. Fair enough, Jay. Cool. Well, then we will be right back and take a quick break and see you all on the flip side. And we're back. Hello, everyone. I don't know if you could hear us while we were uh, out. I don't think so. I tried to mute all the things. Maybe I didn't. We'll see. So yeah, We're back. Welcome back. Let's take a moment, a little breather, to talk about, after the catharsis of EVA 2.22, let's talk about the anime we've been watching, or otherwise. Folks in the chat, let us know what you've been watching lately. And any questions you have for the three of us. Meanwhile, John, how about you?
Well, I've gotten backwards into getting things like watching a little bit more of Odd Taxi, getting some of that done.
Yeah.
Started How Heavy Are Your Dumbbells?
And
I was
nice.
like, that after what you had said about it, it was like I really initially when it was like when it came up, it was the season had started for it, and I was just like, oh, this is gonna be like Haikyuu. It's gonna be like exercisey kind of style. I didn't find any interest in that. I watched it. I'm like, oh my god, this is really fun. I'm like, okay, cool, that's awesome. That's absolutely 100% correct. Again, well, go figure that.
It's great.
And then, like I'm wearing an Adidas sweatsuit, totally normal guy. Boom! I'm like, holy cow. And then catching up, I found Komi-san Can't Communicate, so I'm watching a few more of that.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
More of the Ancient Girls Frame, or Ancient Frame Girl, whatever the heck it is.
Yeah.
Very interesting. It's on Funimation, and the 4th episode was all in Mandarin. Mind you, subtitles are fine.
Yeah.
But it's like episodes 1, 2, and 3 are all in Japanese with subtitles. The 4th episode, there was actually a little notice from Funimation that said, apologies, it is unavailable in like your selected language. And I'm like, selected language? I'm looking at it, I'm like, my choices were Mandarin, Chinese, or Spanish. I'm like,
interesting.
Okay, is this? But I mean, I could totally believe it if it was like, well, this is what happens when you try to do like near to simulcast.
Yeah.
That it's like they had somebody who could like get it from Mandarin into subtitle, but they didn't have anybody who could like get it from Mandarin into whatever separate languages. And I was like, okay, cool. That's a bit weird.
Yeah, episode 4 on Funimation is still listed as in Mandarin only.
Yeah, there you go.
And the other 2 episodes are available in Japanese or Mandarin. Wow. Yeah, so there must have been something with the Japanese version. That's weird.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like we talk about simulcast kind of stuff. And it's like that's really incredibly difficult on translators. If you're like, okay, like Crunchyroll for a long time is like, we can broadcast it on Crunchyroll an hour after premiere. It's like you have to have somebody watch that with like real time and like translate madly to get it onto Crunchyroll.
I just found out why that is. Do you know why that is? You want to guess?
They have not enough translators because everybody has COVID.
Nope, it's a Chinese anime.
Right. Oh. Its actual name is like Do Shenji.
Yeah. So like, the Japanese version comes later. Like it broadcasts in Japanese the next day. So they must have the Chinese version first.
Before it's even in.
Before it's even in and obviously there's lead time on these things. But it must be one of those things where there's just that didn't get into the onto the file server in time.
Yeah, I mean, because for all intents and purposes, it doesn't matter. I got an English subtitle. But it's just really very, very interesting to hear someone speaking Mandarin when it's like the first 3 episodes. I'm like, I can recognize a few Japanese phrases and bits and pieces here. And then it's like, they're just going on full-on Mandarin. I'm like, I have no idea. It sounds beautiful. It really does. I have no idea what's being said here. Thank God for subtitles. Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah. I couldn't even guess.
Not a baka in sight.
No, not in the least bit. Somebody doesn't, want asagohan. They don't want like breakfast, or they're not going to go do something, chotto matete, wait for me, or
somebody walks in, ni hao.
Jane.
Oh right, yeah,
yeah. And it's just like, somebody like hands somebody like shit. They're like, damn, that's right, Chinese. So just trying to generally catch up on those and see what I could get done, because this time that I've had last couple of weeks, I have done the Great Food Tour of Roanoke.
Nice.
Yes.
So I finished up with 13 places I had never eaten at before.
Wow.
And then added in last few days a couple more that I had been to before. So in 16 days, 15 places.
Wow.
So it has been like quite the food tour. Quite enjoyed myself, like everywhere here and there. Talking to a lot of people. As a solo diner, it's just interesting how you can slip into places. I'd never been to a Texas Roadhouse. It's a chain. I've just never been to one. So I went in on, I think it was like Wednesday. And I went in, and there was, surprisingly, I was amazed, a ton of people waiting. I'm like, okay, it's a Wednesday. This is a bit weird.
Yeah.
Went to the front, and I'm like, hi, just going to check in. And like, how many in your party? I'm like, well, one. And they're like, oh, well, come this way. I'm like, oh. Wow. So like there was some very unhappy looking people who were like, hey, what's he doing? I'm like, here's one.
Here's a hint. If you want excellent service as a single diner, bring a Moleskine and open it up and start taking notes as soon as you sit down.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I did that with Yelp. I did that with Yelp. So it's like every time they kept coming by, it's like I was doing like part of my Yelp review and taking pictures of stuff. So I did everything that way. And it's like I got some interesting looks, but I got a ton of great service. It's like, okay. I didn't realize that part. So interesting.
Yeah, that's what I did this accidentally once. I just had a Moleskine and I brought it in. I was writing something, and just suddenly I had all the service. And how are you doing, sir? How's everything?
Yeah.
Oh, you think I'm no.
Yeah, I had exactly that at one of the restaurants downtown where the girl who served me she was telling me everything about the menu, everything about the place, was telling me all about the beers, what I like to try to sample the beers, and I'm like, and I'm just trying to be like check in at Yelp. That's the only part I'm trying to get. But it's like, okay, sure, I'll sample whatever. Yeah, I'm like, that's cool.
Well, back in the day when when my channel was food reviews, that would happen to me. I'd be doing the thing and in the phone making the notes, and suddenly somebody will be like going, "Hello, sir, how are you tonight? Can I interest you in?" Da, 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 da. And you're just like, and I'm like going, "Yes." Can I get this for free?
No. Yeah.
But my good friend at the New York Times recommended this place.
And I always get the crossword puzzle done, by the way. No.
The Chicago Tribune said about me, who? So I got that going for me. Well, I did. I got a freebie at one of the restaurants because I was taking photos. Which, I mean, I'm young, so I'm like, I want to photo stuff and see what's going on. I photo the menu, photo everything else. And I got a freebie for it. They're like, oh, with your dessert, why don't you try this? It pairs excellently with a dessert. I'm like, cool, thanks. I was just going to drink this dirty water out of the puddle, but no, I'll have your high-end drink. Sure.
John, welcome to the world of influencers. You're an influencer now.
Hell no. Hell no. That's not a world I aspire to, but it was great fun. Finally, after all the years, I think all of us have it. Like, oh, have you tried such and such restaurant? Oh, you really ought to. It's like, I finally got to do the thing where it's great. Like, I went to that restaurant. Yeah. I'm like, there we go. So now I filled in some of the blanks in the Roanoke Foodscape. So it was an enjoyable thing. Cool. Anime, food. It's been nice.
Yeah.
It's been a good time.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about y'all?
Yeah. Steve, anything?
Well, I bruised myself on Ava too. My head against the proverbial wall. No, it was nice, but that was really the only real anime. I went to the library with the intention to get some manga. Then I realized I actually do have manga at home that I need to read.
Oh, okay.
But as I'm as I was lurking through the library, the Pratt Library, because I love libraries, I came across a couple things. So the one thing that I came across, it's not manga, but it's an Alan Moore thing that he did, and it's appropriate for the from Hell.
Yep, I got about halfway through that. That's an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Just to give you an idea, it's very very tight.
Yeah.
Very, very, very tight.
There are pages that Steve cannot show you to give you guys an idea of the
I was like, as soon as I put that up, I'm like, oh, I didn't know.
Let me show you restricted content. No, Steve, what are you doing?
It's about Jack the Ripper.
Suddenly everything goes black.
So, yeah.
Everything goes black. And then so I was like going, okay, well maybe I'll actually get a DVD of something and I don't know what. And And I was thinking, well, maybe Ultraman or something like that. But then this thing popped out at me, and I wished I had a vinyl record player because I saw the soundtrack to the original Battlestar Galactica in a glorious cover of the ship, all the characters. You know how they do the mountain of characters on the one side, and the big characters get the big faces, and the smaller characters get progressively smaller. Lorne Green is like predominant on this thing, and it's all drawn, and it's this glorious thing.
Yep.
And, Admiral Adama. Commander Adama. And I was just like, I just want. And then I looked to the right of it, and it is the Star Trek pilot episode music.
Wow.
So on vinyl.
Yeah.
With a picture of Spock with the really low haircut they had in it.
Oh wow.
And I was just like looking around, I'm like going,
just Spock, or was Captain Pike on there too?
Pike was on there too. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was just like, I wish I had a record player still, because I would have totally snapped this up, made recordings, the whole thing.
Wow.
So as I was moving on and going through the AV section of my library, which is actually quite impressive, I came across a little gem, and I was just like, I must have this, and I must watch this. And
nice! Flash Gordon conquers the universe.
Oh, good night.
Nice.
12 episodes. And I'm just like, I can't wait to watch this.
Yeah.
Is this the one with the little tin ships and the little sparklers on the back, like circles? Oh, good Lord.
I have great memories of that.
Yeah, I do too. That's really funny.
Living Plague, Polar right? Yeah.
Wow.
I honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed that storyline of Flash Gordon. Like it is a fun thing all the way through.
So that was my wonderful little trip to the library that I enjoyed so much. How about you, Brent?
I watched a bit more of My Senpai is Annoying. The Christmas episode.
Yep.
Oddly. I do not recall in the manga this early them going so far with the coworker storyline.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoy. Like, I love that storyline, but it's kind of interesting. And also, as I recall from the manga, there's more from the senpai's perspective, which they have not done yet, which I'm very curious about. You get to see the senpai's view on all of this stuff, because I don't know how much I should say, because maybe it's a spoiler. But
I'm gonna watch it either way.
Okay.
I have not seen the manga. I'm just enjoying the show.
Senpai is head over heels for the main character.
Oh,
yeah.
Cute.
And he just doesn't know how to express it, and so all the things he's doing is kind of his stumbling attempts at affection for her, but he can't quite break out of the kind of personality that he has.
Let me just rub your hair.
Exactly.
Oh, you crazy kid. You.
And so you get to see from his perspective, when he does that, and afterwards he's like, no, shouldn't have done that, no, so. So maybe we'll see that some. Maybe they're waiting until halfway through or something. But.
Well, how long did it take for the coworker thing to develop?
There were little hints of it, and I know that through the first volume or two. They're just kind of hints of it, of just they're just kind of seeing each other and talking a little bit, and they obviously are. I don't think they had a relationship yet, but they were obviously not just coworkers. Like they had formed a little bit of a relationship.
Right.
But not much at all, which kind of intrigued me.
Yeah, because that Christmas episode, it's wow. Okay,
yeah, they're definitely.
They're really. You want to get something to eat? Sure. Where do you want to go? Get ramen? Okay. Holy wow, he's pretty smooth for a dude who has the fish eye thing going on there. It's doesn't have real eyeballs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I also watched a bit more of Am Warriors on the Borderline, the New Sunrise show. And boy, is that a Gundam show. Boy, is that a Gundam series, basically.
As in, now that you've seen a few bits of it, you don't need to watch more, or it's it's engaged you?
No, as in, is engaged me. As in, episode 2, he has to get some food Like he has to, find somewhere to hole up and to grab some food, and so he sees a garden, like somebody's vegetable garden, and kind of goes over there, grabs something. Crusty old man sees him. He apologizes profusely. Crusty old man then takes him in, and gives him food and shelter and so forth. And then the cops show up, and he's like, "No, go to the back room. No, there's nobody here, officer." And the officer looks down and sees a pair of sneakers, in the entryway. He's like,
"Yeah,
really? Yeah, nope, nobody here." Okay, and goes off, and the main character, goes away. The last shot is of the man and the woman holding hands, looking out the window at him going off, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna die. And they haven't yet, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you're doing all the things the Gundam series would do about, setting up all of these supporting characters and so forth. And
when we saw in the first episode, they had all of his junker buddies.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, we're gonna do things. If you don't come out, we're gonna do. And they still demolish the warehouse. So it's yeah, that's a fairly reasonable thing to be like. Okay, I don't remember the end of episode 1. I don't think they killed his junker buddies.
No.
They were arresting them all for salvaging parts and stuff. So it's it wouldn't surprise me if you see old woman go off in a paddy wagon somewhere.
Yeah.
Occupation troops, they're gonna take him away.
Yep. And there's more background plot of them and the occupation, and they have some history there. So I'm thoroughly enjoying that series for just doing all the things. And I also watched Dune. The new Dune movie. Yep. So Steve and I have been talking about that rather obsessively because
yes,
because it's Dune.
It's Dune. Because, and just in case you folks are curious, as a longtime Dune fan, I was very impressed. It really worked for me. I have my nitpicks, as anyone would. But very, very impressive. And if you can see it in theaters, it is a cinematic, worthy experience. So just putting that in there. Cool. Absolutely.
And I forgot to mention that I'm on the last volume of Shigeru Mizuki's Showa.
Ooh, nice.
So I'm up to 1960.
Okay, yeah.
So I've come all the way from 1926 to 1960, and just seeing how his experiences through all of that, through the war and through the post-war period, all of the I never in my life, we've heard stuff about the student riots and stuff like that, and that occurred in the 1960s, but it's there were a lot of crazy. I would have thought U.S. occupation forces would have gunned people down kind of protests, huge labor strikes, incredible. The Communist Party in Japan sort of divorced itself from Stalinism, but they were fully active with the student union kind of thing. Yeah, it was nuts.
They were a legit movement.
Yeah.
I mean, it was full on people getting assassinated. It was almost a mirror image of the pre-war assassinations of objectionable political people post-war, and it's just oh wow, this is I had no idea that kind of depth and breadth of things going on. It's oh no, the war ended and everybody just was very good.
No. Well, this is why folks are folks today scoff at 50s and 60s concerns about communism and and all of the anti-communism stuff. And it's no, that was a thing. There were communists trying to blow people up. That was a legit concern.
Yeah, the Comintern was a real thing, and Stalin had a very clear agenda about how things were going to roll. And it's just oh crap.
Yep. Yeah. So that's cool. Yeah, definitely let us know what you think as that finishes out.
Yeah, I can't stop reading it every time I go by and I'm pick up, read a few more pages. I'm I gotta go do other things down. So it's been again, it's been nice to have that opportunity to sit down and do other things.
Yeah, Mizuki is a treasure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
Y'all hear that? That's not right. That's better. We're professionals. Actually, quite not professionals. That's okay. Welcome to the latest anime news for the week ending October 30th, 2021. Let us just get into it. It is another very light week in the world of anime news. Gotta admit, with the main event once again being the upcoming live-action Cowboy Bebop adaptation. This week the show dropped its... well, thankfully, this week the show dropped its first official full trailer. And if you somehow haven't watched it yet, this is your sign to go do so as soon as the stream ends. And like I'm not, I'm not joking there. Like this is worth seeing to see how they did this. Netflix held a special trailer live stream event featuring a video message from Mustafa Shakir, who plays Jet Black, and a live Q&A session, with John Cho and Daniela Pineda, who are of course Spike and Faye. The stream also included a special code for the first 5,000 people who signed up, giving access to an early stream of the show's first 2 episodes, which is a very smart idea. That chance is past by now, but you can still rewatch the stream through the news story link below in the description if you'd like to catch the replay. It also featured an exclusive clip of a certain Corgi's first introduction scene, as well as the trailer itself. Netflix also revealed a new key image of the series along with several stills featuring the main cast and Vicious and a few other side characters. What do you guys think of the trailer? Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And for what it's worth, they posted a teaser, I guess, the previous week, which is basically which is clearly like shot to introduce folks to the universe and so forth. It's very stylized and so forth. This is more clips from the show, various moments from various episodes, so you can get a better feel of what it will actually like, the pacing and the style of dialogue and such. Oops, dope. Thank you. Audio problems. But yes. Thank you for letting us know. Sorry about that. But yeah. So yeah. Looking forward to that. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. But yes, that should be fun. Encouraging thus far. All right. Believe it or not, also this week. Yeah, slow news week. Golf fans, this is the news week for you. Not one, but 2 original golf-themed anime series have been announced this week. At least they'll all be better than Dando. First up is Birdie Wing Golf Girl Story, a new TV anime from Bandai Namco Pictures. The story centers on 2 young women golfers who have completely different backgrounds and completely different play styles, but together will shake the world of golf. But the question is, of course, will they go to nationals? There we go. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Just wait. All the golf courses transform into stages. You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It totally makes sense. You know, yeah, 26 episodes, 18 holes of golf, right? You can very easily just do a different golf hole. Yeah, there we go. I was going to say a different whole episode. That's like a very different kind of a show. Anime, anime studio Yostar Pictures also announced their original golf anime this week. It's titled Sky Blue Utility, and will also feature a cast of cute girls doing golf, as if that's a surprise. Yeah, it's the time for golf. I think it's, you know, nice. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. That also was not the only new anime announced this week from Yostar Pictures. The studio is also making an animated television series based on the Arknights smartphone game. Hugely successful. The series' first season is titled Prelude to Dawn and is already in production. It is a tactical tower defense game set in a dystopian future populated by terrible disease and, of course, cute girls with anime ears who must fight it. I've actually played some of this game. Downloaded it and tried it a couple of weeks ago, and couldn't get into the actual gameplay. The kind of the tower defense thing just kind of wasn't interesting to me. But yeah, gorgeous character designs, really lovely style, and a very sort of gritty dystopian aesthetic, which is a little unusual sort of stylistically. So it'll be interesting to see how much they can get that across in the visuals of the anime. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no. No. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm just looking it up here. Yeah. So you basically you set up the various characters, and so you have a grid. You place various characters on the grid, and then you have enemies coming in, and then they are, I forget if they literally auto fire or if you like click to make them, you know, attack as the enemies are coming through. Yeah. Mhm. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, this is much more, and obviously it's much more plot driven. You know, think of like Genshin Impact kind of thing, where there's all sorts of plot stuff going on, and you know, all that stuff. I'm actually looking up to see if the Wikipedia article is surprisingly thin, all things considered. 'Cause it's definitely a pretty big deal from what I've heard. Yeah. The official Arknights subreddit currently has 145,000 people viewing and 1,600 people posting. So it's doing pretty well. Let's see here. Moving on, Cloverworks announced a new original TV anime this week titled Tokyo 24th Ward, set to debut in January. The show takes place on an artificial floating island in Tokyo Bay, the titular 24th Ward, and follows three childhood friends whose lives change drastically after a certain incident called the Third Impact. No, kidding. A certain incident forcing them to protect the future of their island. So I'm betting mecha are involved. Mm. Oh. Mm. Interesting. Yeah. Huh. interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Well, it is by Cloverworks, whose most recent work was Wonder Egg Priority. Yeah. Who knows? I'm trying to remember what else they've done. Boy, that annoys me. Subsidiary of Aniplex. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Yeah. Excuse me. Fate Grand Order. The Promised Neverland. Darling in the Franxx, co-produced with Trigger and A1 Pictures. Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. And a handful of other things. So, yeah, I mean, this is, yeah. Oh, and Horimiya, interestingly enough, which is more, but yeah, definitely, towards the more serious, side of things, I would say. So, interesting. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Certainly not fluffy. I would call their shows. Interesting. So no, no. So yeah, curious what they're gonna come up with. The Shine Post light novel from writer Rakuda and illustrator Buriki, known for their previous light novel Orisuki, is inspiring its own multimedia idol project, set to include a game, manga, concerts, and an anime. The anime adaptation is set to premiere sometime next summer because there's not enough idol shows. Nagano's Chikawa Twitter manga has announced an anime adaptation coming next year. The manga follows the happy, sad, and sometimes stressful moments in the daily life of Chikawa, quote, some sort of small, cute creature, end quote. Really? You think so? You think? Maybe? Kinda. I can actually see the conversation between like the editor and the mangaka there, where small cute creature. What kind of whatever? You just small cute creature. It's okay. Yeah, exactly. I trust your artistic vision on this. The new Fruits Basket anime is getting a compilation film titled Fruits Basket Prelude that will include the Kyoko and Katsuya's story anime, the backstory of Toru's parents, as well as new scenes depicting events from after the TV anime's story. So that's exciting. The film will open in Japan on February 18th with a Blu-ray release on the same day. Yeah, because COVID. Macross fans in the US, mark down December 14th in your calendars. The Macross Plus movie edition film is coming to theaters with English subtitles for one day only. The movie edition is the film version of the 4-volume Macross Plus series from 1994, which is set 3 decades after Space War I from the first Macross series. Tickets will go on sale for the screening on November 12th. And by the way, if you've seen the OVA, the movie includes new footage. There is stuff in there that is not in the OVA, some that is quite graphic, actually. But if you're interested, that's the thing. Yeah. No, December 14th. Yeah, December 14th is the actual movie. Right, yeah, December 14th is the actual, yeah. Is it? It is, I don't think you'll have a problem finding the Macross Plus movie edition if you want to watch it. I'll put it that way. It should be available. Yeah. The clip of the Macross movie edition made me go, I don't know if I want to watch that. it's graphic. I'll put it that way. For those of you who've seen Macross Plus, how to do this without spoilers. There's a scene in the movie, or the scene in the story, where one character is pushing his mecha to its limits, in a way that is very injurious. And in the OVA, you just, you know that's happening to him, and then you see kind of, the end of that from afar. In this, we're still inside the cockpit while it's happening. Yeah. Right up close and personal to some of the, kind of stuff. Yeah, so it's kind of, which, in fairness, right, yeah. And again, in fairness, in original Macross, like you see Ben, you certainly see that happening in the original series and people getting sort of splatted. But this is kind of like so again, that there could be a bunch of other awesome stuff in there, but that was one of those things like, who knows? But that's all the news for this week. Really, literally, that's all the news we could find this week. See y'all next week. Golf and Death. There's an anime title. Death. Oh, yeah. Have you guys seen, what is it, Golf RPG? It's I think it's a Nintendo Switch game. It is a, so like a Final Fantasy game? Do that, but all the combat is golf. So it's the whole story that you're playing through with all these characters and the pixel art and all these maps, but then, like, when you have a random battle, you just pull out a golf club and, like, hit golf balls at things. And like you do golf, it's hilarious. It's great. People have said like it's legitimately like an enjoyable RPG. They just swapped out all of the combat with golf. Yeah. Really weird. Yeah. Oh wait. What? Are we still not getting audio? I thought I fixed audio. Can you guys talk a little bit? Dark! Audio's been off this entire time. What's going on? Something's not right. I have audio switched on for you guys. Yeah. And I switched it back on, but it is not coming through. What the heck? It should be, yeah, that's not it. 1 second. I have no way to actually change that, is the thing. Like I have desktop audio as a source, but, it's not an option I can change. 1 second. No. There's... So guys, I'm trying to fix this. I do not have a way of fixing this. I'm looking at everything. No, I mean, I literally have a control for it. It is active, it is switched on, but it is not getting any audio. And it was working before. Sorry, everyone. We may have to redo this episode from scratch next week. This sucks. Yeah. Test speaker. Let's try that. Did that change anything? Can you guys talk a little bit? Whoa, not that. Nope. Wow. Yeah, let me try. Let me go back to this.
Well, lost it. Did we actually
Okay,
get
there it
through
is
the
over
Eva
here.
discussion?
I think we got the Eva discussion because folks were reacting to that, but I think none of the news got pulled in, which granted of all the weeks,
Okay.
you know, not the worst thing in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are in now, so the desktop audio just isn't working. Discord audio capture 2 is the only thing getting audio. That's weird. Sorry, everyone. I apologize for that. For some reason, the news. Let me try switching over to that real quick. One second. We'll do some testing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that doesn't have an audio option unless I select okay. Well, he was hearing us before. I don't think he's hearing you now. Let me turn that back on. So let me see if I can pull in audio. That might be it. Discord audio capture. If I that's I turned that on before. It's not an option. So if I try to switch that back through, no. Okay, so now I know. I'm gonna have to play around with. Whoa. Okay, OBS is really unhappy.
Okay.
Wow, it's getting multiple things now. Why is it getting? Whew. Okay, can you guys talk real quick?
Sure.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see here.
Yeah, that audio's
Time
coming
to
in
call
from you guys.
George Lucas and get ILM in here to fix this.
Yeah, fix this. Yeah, right. Let's see. I can read the definition from hell on the word autopsy. So
Good. Okay.
let's see if anybody can hear me do this autopsy. Autopsy, dissection, examination of a dead body to determine the cause of death. 2, an eyewitness observation. 3, any critical analysis. From Greek, autos, self plus opsis, sight and the act of seeing with one's own eyes. Collins English Dictionary. One measures a circle beginning anywhere. Charles Fort. Everything must be considered in this context, words or facts. Sir William Whitley Gall, notes and aphorisms.
What
Anyway,
did we
hear that.
learn on the show tonight, Brad?
Definition of autopsy.
Autopsy.
Okay, I see Captain Laser. I said this is autopsy.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah. Apologies, folks. I don't know what's going on there with my OBS. I'm gonna have to tear it down and rebuild it from scratch. I think. Maybe not that bad, but something's really weird audio-wise, and I'll just have to fiddle around with that.
Have to take it in the back alley and teach it a lesson.
Getting the
Paranoia agent.
the damn robot audio.
Audio.
So tell you what, let's change things around a little bit. Let's have a little bit more fun. Let's talk about some anime history,
Aha.
if we can. If the audio will
If we
work.
can.
Let's find this out. I'm gonna switch over. We'll see. Okay. You guys say something real quick? Nope, that's not working either. Okay, great. Wonderful. What's weird is that source is available. It's just not showing up in my audio mixer as an option. It's just not there at all. Okay, so smile as I do the anime history. Welcome to This Week in Anime History, where we talk about perfect. Welcome to the mime episode of This Week in Anime History. Where we talk about things that happened this week in anime history, as we're experiencing audio problems this week in anime history. Back in 1935, October 29th was the day that Isao Takahata was born. A great man. I thought Steve was gonna smother himself there for a second. Isao Takahata, obviously legendary anime director of Grave of the Fireflies and My Neighbor the Yamadas and Princess Kaguya and Heidi Girl of the Alps and Anne of Green Gables and Horace Prince of the Sun and all sorts of just legendary works of anime. So it's really cool, and it's nice having both a skeleton and Jamie Heineman here. I really appreciate them being here for the news. Also, this week, actually the same day historically, but much later on, was the U.S. premiere of Princess Mononoke on October 29th, 1999, when Hayao Miyazaki actually made his way. Hayao Miyazaki's Mononoke made his way over to America, and this was arguably like the first big theatrical release, or was the first big theatrical release of a Miyazaki movie in the U.S. Not a massive like wide release, but at least it was a recent Miyazaki movie in U.S. theaters, which was really nice to see. And a lot of fans who were very happy to see that. And oh boy, the angst online leading up to the release of this movie, and people absolutely certain that Disney was going to turn Princess Mononoke into Cinderella. That they were going to edit it and rewrite it and rework it into basically a Disney movie, which didn't quite happen. But it's hilarious seeing some of the online conversations around that and the fright around what Princess Mononoke may or may not become. And that's what happened this week in anime history. And we're back. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Skeleton Person.
Skeletor, hello.
Hey, man.
My favorite Skeletor moment is there was a remake from like the 2000s, I think. It was clearly like, Korean animated or something. It was good. But there's a moment where Skeletor goes after He-Man at some point in some labyrinth, and whatever is the annoying little wizard guy.
Urko.
Orko, yeah. Orko.
Urkel. No,
yeah,
Orko.
Yeah, basically. He says, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off, I'm going to snuff out all of the torches. And so he does a spell, and all the torches go out. And then you see Skeletor's glowing eyes, and he goes, "Ooh, the dark! I'm so scared." Yeah.
I've got infravision to 60 feet. Oh. Hey.
That's Skeletor sass. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me talk about something I like.
Ooh.
Which, again, if anyone here has seen this, I will be dang impressed. Where did it go? I thought I downloaded it. That's weird. 1 second.
Evangeline. No.
Not quite. Oh, that's weird. I know I put it on here, but it looks like it went into a different folder than I expected. So, I'm going to have to ask Steve and John to do a little show for us here. Do a little tap dance.
Oh, good God. Thank goodness. Thought it was going to be a
Put on the show, folks.
Never mind.
And I'll see if I can grab this and pull this off of the network drive.
Well, Steve, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't. Yes, I can.
Yes, I can. Oh, if only I could be Ethel Merman.
Oh, with the right operation.
Not even a chance. You can't even get that kind of voice out of a post-operative anybody.
It's amazing what medical science can do now.
Well, if I was Gendo Ikari, I could probably clone.
I'm sure you could.
Never.
Okay, all right. Now I need to see a scene of Evangelion where all the Rays are Ethel Mermans. There's a vat of Ethel Mermans.
And you go down to the deepest dogma, and it's just deafening cacophony of like Ethel Merman singing. You're like, the hell's going on? Make sure you have your ear shields on.
Human Instrumentality Project!
again, why'd you do this? I just love Ethel. Wow. Yes, you do.
Oh, God.
Go down to Dogma, sub basement B. You'll see my love of Fred Astaire. Is that what that rumbling noise is? Yes, it is 10 million Fred Astaire's tap dancing. Oh, you are a sick, sick man.
And the next sub basement, Liza.
Oh, jeez.
Again, it would bring joy to my heart. I give just another moment, and I can talk about something I love. Hopefully. Boy, talk about obscure. Is available. Was released in the U.S. on DVD at one point.
The Camera Obscura.
Almost. Make sure I have the right thing. Let me pause. What is a good representative screenshot of this thing? Wow. I need to move forward.
The cover art?
Not really. It's one of those things where the title is just just like an image, a text basically. Let's go with
white box with black text.
Yeah, I did. There is a reveal image. No.
No.
We'll go.
Should we start singing Larkin Cell songs?
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go with that.
That is what we shall go.
Welcome to Brent's Anime Recommendation Corner, where I talk about things that I love in anime, and today I'm going to talk about Catnapped, a children's anime film about a young boy and a girl, brother and sister, who are taken to the fantastical world of Banipal Wit, where everyone is a cat person, and indeed they are transformed into cat people, and they have to solve a big problem, shall we say, in Banipal Wit. A sorceress who is creating great chaos in the land because of a dog that she has changed and magically transformed, a dog that just happens to be the boy and the girl's dog who has run away. And so they have to get the get the dog back and resolve this problem. And so what's great is this is totally a light family adventure until the moment it's not, but we'll get to that. But it's also about responsibility in a way. It's also about how these kids don't treat this dog really as kindly as some people do. They sort of take it, they don't consider this dog. They're much like they're like the standard kids, young kids with a dog, where the dog is just a dog, whatever, right? And don't really think about how much the dog's feelings might be taken, about how much you play with the dog or whatever, the feelings you have about the dog. And so the dog has run away to the land of Banipal Wit, and so they have to deal with that. As they're brought in as heroes to deal with that thing. And who did they get to write this movie? Of course, but Chiaki J. Kanaka, the writer of Serial Experiments Lain. So, it is a totally light, fun adventure. And what I love about it is that Kanaka is able to bring just enough seriousness, just enough weight to it, to really make you, to make the themes of the movie kind of come home, where you do understand the importance of what's going on here, the idea of taking care of the things in your house and taking care of your pets and such, and so forth, and the things that you love or should love. It's just there, and then there's all the wonderful action adventure fantasy stuff in the movie. I will say there is a plot point in the movie about the king has a couple of acrobats in at one point in the past, and you see this flashback to these acrobats, and the villain insists that one of the acrobat's young daughter do a very dangerous stunt, and it does not go well. So be aware that there is a moment like that in the movie. If you show this to very young children, right? It's a slightly intense moment. Obviously you don't see blood or anything, but it's clear what happened. That this young girl tried this thing and it didn't work. It went poorly. But that's like the only like really dark moment in the movie. There are some initial moments of the kids walking the dog and so forth where again they don't treat the dog particularly well. So that's one of those things where it's a little but that is very much, reversed by the end of the movie. So it's that kind of thing. And that is, again, very much the theme of the film. But generally just a big, fun, over-the-top kind of a action-adventure movie for kids. Great little story for younger kids, especially if you have a younger brother or sister you want to get into anime. Really, really, really fun little movie. Give it a watch through first to make sure some of those moments aren't going to freak anyone out. But a thoroughly enjoyable little film, and big anime budget, big bold brassy music, and just a really really fun time.
When did this come out?
Early 90s, I think.
Okay.
I'm just gonna look it up here real quick.
Because I have certainly never heard of it.
Yeah, it's.
I have heard of it. I've never watched it.
Yeah, 95. Excuse me.
Okay.
Let's see here. I'm actually intrigued. Oh, well, Wikipedia doesn't say anything. It very much feels like it's based on a kid's book.
Right.
Right. It very much has that kind of tone and quality to it. Wikipedia doesn't say one way or the other, but it wouldn't surprise me. Created, and character designed by Takashi Nakamura. Animation director on Akira. Worked on Robot Carnival.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Also directed A Tree of Palm, if you're familiar with that. And Fantastic Children from 2004. So, yeah. One of these guys who's really interesting sort of visual director. I think he did the cloud sequence in there. Let me just check. Nope, that is not right. Did he do? I'll have to see. What did he do in Robot Carnival? Have you guys seen Robot Carnival?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
eons ago.
Yeah.
Back in the swirling mists of time.
He did Nightmare. Chicken Man and Redneck, the Nightmare Mountain robot sequence.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
that sort of broad general feel. So yeah, it's fun.
Cool.
So I do have a question.
How did you first run into it?
Oh. This was the days of Suncoast Video. There's an anime section that I go to every couple of weeks, and that is now in the anime section. And I look at it and I'm like, sure, I'll give it a try.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much that. So I do have a question.
What did we learn on the show tonight, Bren?
On the show tonight, Bren. We have to find kazoos. We just have to.
La, 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 la. Steve went full on Skeletor at the end there. Hey man! Oh no! Run!
I learned that it is golf's time in anime. It's time for the golf. Because it's, every other sport has had its day, and there are other golf anime. I've seen one. I own one. That was a waste of money.
You own one?
Dondo the Super Shot.
Oh wow!
It is a there's like a 12-year-old boy golf prodigy. It has one of the lowest anime budgets I have ever seen in my life. Yeah, it's rough.
Wow.
It's real rough.
The studio said, "We have $5 left. What can we?"
Exactly. Yeah.
We got all this extra paper and pens. Anybody got something they want to try? Sure. Yeah, hit it.
So it's hoping neither of these anime are like Dando the Super Shot. Otherwise, I relearned my appreciation for EVA 2.22. My love of it was not unfounded the first time around. And I also learned that anime news definitely goes through peaks and troughs.
Yes. It also goes through points where there's no audio.
That's true. I learned OBS hates me even more than usual.
Yeah.
And that I need to give it a stern talking to.
I learned that it's another Saturday night where we have
Yeah.
some technical issue, and that's fine.
God.
And that again, another popular mobile or gaming platform,
Yeah.
Arc Knights, is going to do the thing, and that's great. I've enjoyed some where, I really liked SAO. I like some of these they're adapted well. Some of them like Shuffle, not so much.
Yeah.
But I've learned that there's infinite variety in the ways that inspire how we get anime, and I'm okay with that. Some of them are going to be hits, and some of them are going to be misses. But as long as that keeps on chugging forward, that's a good thing. I also learned Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Steve,
I have learned that there will never be an end to sports anime. If you can make golf an exciting anime, he says very sarcastically. And
you'll
I
be
would
watching
just,
it, Steve. You'll be watching both of
I'll
those.
be the
going,
one
"Oh,
who's
I love
watching it. I'll be the one watching it, hoping for like a mecha idol dance off. That's what I learned for the golf anime. I learned that when I watched the original series of Evangelion or what
Yeah,
do you call
Evangelion.
it? Evangelion. Evangelical Lions. So
Evangelical Lions. Wow.
I've learned that when I was watching the original series, I felt that I was not supposed to like Shinji to begin with. So it's one of those things where it's just kind of like we make fun of the wishy-washiness and all that stuff, but the number two this rebuild series fortunately puts them back into a different perspective, and then it's more meat on the bone, so to speak. And I've also lastly learned on this with this rebuild series is that I would never want the job as insurance adjuster for Tokyo 3.
Yeah.
Fair. I'm actually going to show something here real quick, saying that you're not supposed to like Shinji. You are not incorrect. I'm going to see if I can pull this in. It's not really going to like... let me just... I have a little display capture window here. I'm just going to have to shrink that up a little bit.
I think as the films have gone on, you can appreciate Shinji's friends.
Yep.
Because the guys he hangs out with, what's the first time we see those guys? One of them punches Shinji in the face.
Yep. It's true.
Right.
And then they learn to like the kid. And that's kind of like how 1, 2, and 3 go.
Yep.
You punch him in the face, and then you start to figure out, okay, Shinji, I'm understanding a little bit better on what's going on here.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
a little more appreciation.
Yeah, totally. No, I'm not going to be able to show that because, again, OBS hates me. So that's okay. But we will get there. This will be a little thing for next week, perhaps.
Okay.
Little thing to talk about next week about Evangelion.
Brent's secret discussion.
Yes. I
He
think
was playing golf.
definitely a thing to talk about.
No, what it is, it's Ava's playing golf in an idol contest on covering Ethel Merman songs.
I
They
can't
have
think
to
of a better
sing,
way.
sing, dance, knock the angel down, and then the core that they always have to pop, they have to gulf it into like a hole that has spikes that pop it. So they've got to dance up to it, singing, and hit the core.
Ethel
and then
Merman
land it.
style.
Ethel Merman style.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Treading the floodlights. Or the footlights.
Yeah.
Treading the footlights.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. What's wrong with him? He thinks he's Ethel Merman. I don't remember that
He
moment.
sits up in the bed. Everything's coming a roses.
Oh boy. I can think of no better way of ending this than with that. Thank you all so much. This is always fun. We'll be back next week with EVA 3.33. Have a great one, guys.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Halloween.
Happy
Stay safe.
Halloween. Enjoy.